Good evening, everyone, and welcome to, the Bundesliga show of sorts. We're here for our second ever watch-along tonight. 5 minutes' time, we are going to be watching the Europa League Final between Eintracht Frankfurt and Rangers. So I hope everyone is doing well and is ready for a really entertaining game. Obviously, his second time me and Mark have ever done this, and for a really big occasion with regards to a German team being in it. Frankfurt is a really special occasion for them and all their fans. So hope you can all tune in and get involved with us and watch the game and enjoy it, whether you're a Frankfurt fan, a neutral, or a Rangers fan. Let us know in the comments. What we're going to do for the next 4 minutes or so before kickoff. They're obviously at the moment, I've got it on the TV in front of me. They're doing all the kind of presentations and the players are starting to come out onto the pitch. We'll do a few predictions and then we'll run through some key players maybe to look out for. So, Mark, I'll throw it over to you. What are you thinking for your predictions straight away?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, just looking at the team lineups that you can see on the screen, I mean, obviously, it's a very, very strong Frankfurt team out there. I think, obviously, the only key man that's missing is obviously that man Hinteregger, which it is a big miss. Obviously, Toure comes in alongside Ndicka and Tuta, who are obviously regulars in the team. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Lindstrom has made the team as well, despite looking unlikely that he was going to make it. He's been one of the key players, despite not always having that kind of final product. But it's a very, very strong looking Frankfurt side. Obviously, Rangers too. Obviously, a couple of missing players for them. The likes of Morelos is missing, Hadji as well. But I still think it's looking like a really, really strong two lineups, really. Obviously, as a Bundesliga fan, I'm going to go for a Frankfurt win tonight, though. You know, I am confident they're going to do it. A lot of people are tipping up Rangers. I can even see Yank talking smack. Yeah, he's gone for Rangers. Come on, have more faith in the Bundesliga, man. Yeah, but I think, I am confident we're going to see a 2-0 Frankfurt win today. You know, we've seen a lot of great Frankfurt performances in Europe this season, and I'm confident of another one. And to bring the Europa Pokal back to Frankfurt, I'm confident. What about you, Rory? What do you think?
I'm more kind of, because obviously I'm based in the UK, so I've been getting a lot of the British media's point of view, and a lot of it is a lot more biased. So it's kind of thrown me a little bit more. I'm going to say 2-1 to Frankfurt. I think they will do it. But yeah, it's going to be a close game. I hope it's a really exciting game and the occasion doesn't get to either side, because it is so big for both of them. It's, you know, not like to use my English team's kind of point of view, it's not like United just qualifying for the sake of it. Not that they could even manage it this year. And like, it really does matter to both teams. So maybe that will kind of be represented in the way that both teams go about it. Obviously, it's going to be really hot. I'm led to believe in Sevilla. So, you know, that might make an impact on the way that both teams play. The Rangers are quite higher tempo, perhaps, than what, you know, Frankfurt might play. So that'd be interesting to see if Rangers have to adapt their game at all. If any Rangers fans are watching, do let us know your opinion as to whether you think that'll be the case. Right, but I'm saying 2-1. I'm quite confident on that. Mark, do you want to talk through a couple of players to watch out for then, maybe from the Frankfurt point of view? Who do we think is going to have a big impact on this game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think the key man is Filip Kostic, as he has been for a number of years, really. Obviously, that amazing left foot that's going to be coming in to obviously terrorise my former Wigan man, Tavernier. You know, he's going to have a real hard game out there. I think, obviously, Kamada has had a really, really strong Europa League campaign as well. He got a few goals. He was really good in both legs against West Ham as well. I think Borre as well, he scored that cracking goal against Barcelona, didn't he? I think he's going to have a big game. He's grown into the season more and more. I think Knauf too is another one, another really good player. I think he's only 18 on loan from Borussia Dortmund, and I think they've got him for another year after this as well on a kind of loan contract. So that's great for Frankfurt. I think probably my worry for Frankfurt could be the defence at times. You know, I mean, obviously missing Hinteregger, who in my opinion is the best Frankfurt defender. Anyone else I've missed, you think, Rory?
I think you've gone through a lot of the big players from a Frankfurt point of view to kind of keep an eye out for. I'm sure if I could think of anyone else, Bore, Kamada, Kostic. I think, Knauf's had a really good loan spell. Evan and Dicker, I think, could be a really important player for them tonight. Obviously, in the absence of Hinteregger, in that kind of back three, will be interesting to see how well they cope with the way that Rangers are going to play. The players have just finished taking a knee, and we are about to kick off the Europa League Final. So very exciting. We'll try and talk as much as we can about the game and keep you updated. Obviously, I hope you're all kind of semi-streaming both at the same time as the game kicks off. And Frankfurt go long straight away. It's Rode who heads the ball into the area, and it's cleared away. Frankfurt have a bit of early possession. Mark, do you reckon a quick start to the game is key for either side, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely, without doubt. It's just shown a kind of side view of the fans as well. It actually looks like there are more Rangers fans in the ground as well, but I think the Frankfurt fans look a little bit more boisterous so far, But it's, fantastic atmosphere looking, a lot of UK flags as well in the crowd. But yeah, it looks like the Frankfurt fans all dressed in white as well at the side, but it's a fantastic atmosphere there. The Sanchez, Pichuan, forgive my Spanish as well. But yeah, obviously Frankfurt probably just a little bit the better in the early stages. But, obviously usually in these finals, it takes a few minutes, doesn't it, to kind of to get it going, really. But it's, looking forward to a good game and a strong performance from the Eintracht today.
Yeah, well, obviously looking from a Rangers point of view, that they're missing a couple of players themselves, aren't they? Obviously, no Alfredo Morelos. I think he would be such a useful weapon to have against Frankfurt. Kind of very aggressive player. I think it would cause a lot of problems for the defense, as well as Hagi, he's been out for a little while as well. I think that is obviously a big blow for them. So both teams missing key players, really, but that's always going to be the case when you get to a final. Knauf whipping in across, goes all the way across to Kostic down in the left-hand corner, whipped in, and Rangers are able to deal with it and break out themselves. Although Frankfurt, again, winning the ball quite high up the pitch mark so far. Frankfurt doing their best to win the ball quite early as soon as they lose possession. Here's a chance. No, cleared away. And there's some early nerves, definitely, aren't there, Mark? A couple of players like hacking at the ball and trying a few things that they might not do in a normal game.
I'd definitely say that Frankfurt will be the happier. I mean, obviously, we're still in very, very early days, only a couple of minutes on the clock. But I would say definitely Frankfurt have looked, they've settled a little bit better. We know the way the German teams play. I would expect Frankfurt to have more of the possession today because, in all honesty, a lot of Rangers' performances have been more defence-based, especially away from home this season, I mean, we saw them at Leipzig. They basically tried to get away from Leipzig with as few goals conceded as possible. I don't think they conceded I don't think they had a single shot on target away in Leipzig. But obviously, at home is where most of their good results have been coming. So I'm hoping that the fact that this is obviously on a neutral ground could potentially turn the game in Frankfurt's favour tonight. And the weather is probably the other factor because I've been reading that it's over 30 degrees over there in the south of Spain today. So, it's I definitely think that it could actually benefit Frankfurt more because, although Germany isn't the hottest country in the world, it's definitely hotter than Scotland. I'd say that much, So, yeah.
It's safe to say that one, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that, that could be a factor. Often it is. We see it in like international tournaments a lot, don't we? That like England sometimes struggle with the hot weather and things. So we'll have to see whether that is an impact tonight as well.
Yeah, and the fact that Frankfurt have already been to Spain twice in the knockout stages, haven't they? Obviously the famous night in the new camp, and obviously they saw off Real Betis as well. So that's certainly something to keep in mind. That's just as Rangers were breaking forward there. I've got a throw in deep in Frankfurt territory, which Tavernier is doing some good work there. Gets to the byline and smashes the ball straight out of play with his attempt for a cross rather. So almost 5 minutes in. It's obviously a bit of a shame that we both have to kind of watch this game on mute or very low level because we can't really soak up as much of the atmosphere as possible, but we can still get a feel for what's obviously going on. But like you said, the white wall in terms of all the Frankfurt fans is really impressive. I obviously got the memo as well, wearing my white shirt.
Yeah.
My long shirt tonight in white as Rangers trying to win a free kick, but the referee is not interested. That is going to be a free kick to Frankfurt in their own area. Quite a lot of, wow, that's Roda and he's bleeding. I didn't see that very well, Mark. Did you? That looked like a potential high foot.
Yeah, not so much. I know he's a tough guy, though, Röder, that's for sure. You know, he's known as kind of like the hard man of the Frankfurt side. But yeah, looks so he's taking a bit of a bad one there. I definitely think Aribo up front for Rangers looks a little bit dangerous. I did my research on Rangers before the match today. Obviously, we don't cover the SPL, but yeah, he seems to be their kind of key man, really. One of the key men, anyway. And I think, he's causing quite a bit of damage there up front so far. But yeah, definitely the high foot looked dangerous. I think if that was later on in the game, we could see more there, to be honest. You know, we could even potentially see a red for that, in truth. The Frankfurt players are not happy at all, that's for sure. You saw a lot of action on the bench there. Ollie Glasner obviously flying off the bench there by the look of it. They censored it. Should be obviously at least a yellow, potentially even a red there, you know. But what do you think, Rory? Do you think it's more anything in that or just a bit of
I think it's probably a yellow, Max. He just about kind of gets his foot down out of the way before Roda makes the head contact with the head. So, yeah, yellow at the most. It'll probably be a brave ref to brandish a card this early, but he's put himself in a dangerous position there. But at the same time, Roda's kind of half bending down, I guess, to make the header. But yeah, at the moment he's flat out on the canvas. But like you say, he's a hard man, Roda, wearing the captain's armband tonight, which I thought might be Kevin Trapp, but no, it's Roda. And I think he's having to get a change of shirt right now. I think he'll be fine to carry on. Got another prediction in from our pals, or obviously our partners, Bundesliga boxes. Thank you for popping in to join us this evening, going for a comfortable Frankfurt 3-1 victory. So we've got a mix of opinions already so far. For sure. And Yang talking Slack has all agreed with you a little bit there, Mark, saying that Aribo is a solid player, especially with their star man Morelos being out. So you're not wrong in doing a bit of research there.
Yeah, I think Morelos has been their key man for a few years now. He's known as a man that turns up for the big occasion, isn't he? Like, I think he's got like a record number of goals against Celtic or something like that. So obviously, but he has been missing for a while, so it's not like he's only missing for this game. I think Rangers have been playing the last 2 or 3 months without him. So, you know, I actually saw a video earlier today with he's actually celebrating with the fans in Seville today, Morelos. So yeah, I saw some videos of the fans like kind of taking selfies and videos with him and stuff, and it's great. I always like it when players can kind of like, you know, put themselves with the fans like that. It's actually something we see a lot in the Bundesliga as well. You know, we see that the fans have a really good connection with the players. And I think, to be honest, in Scottish football, they do that a lot better than in English football, to be honest with you. I think Scottish football in some ways has similarities with the Bundesliga, I think, but obviously the Bundesliga on a much bigger scale, really, you know. But it's very fan-focused, very, you know, community-based, I think, whereas obviously English football is a lot more kind of money, financially based nowadays. But I suppose it just depends what you like, really. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's everyone likes different things from the football. So it's, you know, definitely there are some similarities between kind of the cultures of football in Scotland and Germany, I would say. And I know we have a lot of Scottish Bundesliga fans as well. Actually, we've had a lot on our show, haven't we, Rory, over the last year or so. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, that relationship is definitely key. We saw the celebrations with Stuttgart staying up. Obviously, seems to be the new fad at the moment. These pitch invasions, which I'm not a huge fan of. I guess it's a bit of a thing that's coming back into the game. It seems, isn't it? Like last night, the Sheffield United game and Forest fans piling onto the pitch at the City Ground after winning a semi-final match. And before that was a bit too far. I mean, like, you've not even been promoted yet. But anyway,
we've all done one though, right? Yeah, I've done them for Wigan before in the past.
Yeah. But thankfully, we're kind of darting off topic a little bit because the game was at a standstill because Roda had to get himself sorted out. But now we're back underway with Rangers in possession with a really raking long diagonal ball. Bit of a 50-50 there, and referee's not buying it. So Frankfurt back in possession, and I don't suppose either side would be particularly pleased with that long break mark because it kind of gets them out of their stride. Still haven't even played 10 minutes, and of that 10 minutes, half of it was just kind of stood around, maybe getting a bit stiff again.
Yeah, really a lot. There was a big, really, really long delay there. But I actually think it could help the players, because they've obviously all been out on the pitch. They can get a feel for the atmosphere, a feel for the occasion. But obviously for the game perspective, it's not great because, it's obviously, as you say, I would say at least half of the first 10 minutes or, 4 minutes of the first 10 minutes have just been delayed. So, probably not the best start, the most entertaining start to this Europa League final. But I definitely think it'll get going. It's never usually 0-0 for long when Frankfurt are playing. Let's be honest. They often have a few goals involved in the games. So it's
even at the weekend when they effectively had their dress rehearsal against Mainz, although it was a derby, and they didn't really have a lot to play for. Obviously, finishing very well lower mid-table, and it was 2-2, and there was goals disallowed and things like that as well. So it was still very entertaining. So yeah, give us a little bit of time. We'll have our first goal, I'm sure. Oh, that's a good ball. Kamada in on. Oh, he's can't get a shot away. He's wasted it, I think. Yeah, and Rangers. Oh, chance for a shot. And it's well saved. First shot on target of the game. Yeah. Was it so? Yeah. From midfield. Decent effort, actually. McGregor had to be on the ball, so at least we've had a shot on target. It's a good start. And it's from Frankfurt. So Rangers now back on the ball and trying to get themselves into the game. Can't really say I spotted a particular style of play so far from what Rangers is trying to do, Mark. Seen a couple of long diags from the fullbacks. Do you think they're maybe thinking there might be a bit of a weakness in the Frankfurt back three to target?
Yeah, I think they're probably going to try and play the kind of old school kick and rush, as they call it here in Germany. A bit of like old school British football, really. Try and get the balls in behind. And to be honest, I can understand why they're doing that because I do sense that, like, without Hinteregger, for me, he is the best Frankfurt defender, and he has been for probably the last 2 or 3 seasons, in truth. And the likes of Ndicka, despite being very good in the opposing half, he often makes mistakes at the back, unfortunately. And I think Tuta is kind of similar as well, really. The Brazilian centre half. So yeah, Toure is probably the hoping he's going to be the replacement for Hinteregger. But yeah, that is where I'm a little bit worried at times. But you could see that Rangers, they're not, with all due respect to them, they're not world beaters on the ball, are they? So just then, like a misplaced pass, like going out into touch, you don't tend to see that. You won't see that often from Frankfurt today, that's for sure. They're a lot more comfortable on the ball, a better footballing team, in my opinion. I think one thing that's kind of stood out for me so far is that obviously in the Bundesliga, we see a lot of attack, teams pushing forward. Every time Frankfurt get the ball, there's at least 5 bodies behind that wall, they're defending deep, as British teams often tend to do, let's be honest,
Yeah, sure.
But I think, I do expect to see, Rangers. I expect Frankfurt will have at least 65, 67% of the possession today, I would imagine. But I think, I think it's one of the games that the first goal could be key, to be honest, because I think if Rangers get 1-0 up, they can defend, British teams are very good defensively, and that's why often they tend to do well in Europe, and whereas German teams are a lot better going forward, that's for sure. And I think, if Rangers get the first goal, I would be a little bit worried, to be honest. But I think if Frankfurt can get it, then Rangers would have to chase the game and push forward a bit more, and I think lead to a different game.
Yeah, I can see Ollie Glasner there in his dark blue polo shirt. He's already got 2 rather noticeable large sweat patches underneath the armpits. Obviously, not just obviously a mixture of the pressure that he's feeling and the sweltering conditions in Seville that they're facing right now. Frankfurt, again, right now there's just kind of a bit of a scramble for possession, although Frankfurt are starting to build down the right-hand side here with Knauf. Can he get ball in? He can't, not properly anyway, which is defended by Rangers, although they are making a bit of a pig zero of getting rid of it, and eventually they do, but Frankfurt have possession again. So almost 15 minutes in, we're kind of getting a bit of a rhythm now to the game. Frankfurt certainly, like you said, Mark, got a decent amount of the ball and are trying to basically, what do you reckon, like lure Rangers in so that they can then get out wide and then try and get those crosses in for the likes of particularly Boré to go at. And exactly on the money there. There's a diag trying to spread out wide to Knauf, but it goes out of play for a Rangers goal kick. So there's no more danger there. Just getting a few replays of the Kamada chance. Really is a really good one. If he got his effort off a bit earlier there, Mark, I think he should have not decided to go on a massive dribble and mazy there and rather go for a goal a bit earlier.
Obviously it came early. I think it was actually Barisic, the left back, who made a bit of an error. He probably felt as though he should have got the header in, but he just kind of clipped the top of his head, didn't it? And then it went through onto Kamada, who I would say he did quite well, really. It wasn't easy to get a shot off, but, he could perhaps have, he probably got a bit too close to McGregor, who is known to be a good goalkeeper in that kind of situation. So, he dealt with it well. Obviously, it came out to the Frankfurt midfielder who just kind of curled an effort straight at McGregor. But I think Frankfurt have been the better side. I expected this. I do believe that Frankfurt are the better football team. Despite what the British media have been saying, I think Frankfurt are probably superior in every position apart from defence, I would say, in all honesty. That's again, we could be a bit biased, Rory, because we are obviously regular. We cover the Bundesliga, but I do think if you compare the likes of Boré to Aribo, like Kostic is probably by a distance the best player on the pitch overall. He could play for a Champions League regular team for me, no question about that. I also think Knauf has got a great future in the game as well. He's only very young. He's had a brilliant half of the season with Frankfurt.
Good chance now for Knauf in the box. Oh, well defended again, to be fair. Rangers have been strong in the defensive areas so far. One-on-one defending's been pretty good. Ball into the middle. I think that's Kamada. Good tackle in there. Rangers winning the ball back and trying to counter now, although they've lost it again.
I think you're a few seconds ahead of me there, Rory. But it's I think this is very much kind of how I expected the game to go. Frankfurt with all the possession and most of the quality, in truth, as well on the ball. But Rangers are resolute, and that's what's got them to the final. Ultimately, they've been very, very resolute. The likes of Leipzig, who dominated them, really, let's be honest, in that home leg, but they only ended up winning 1-0. And you always know if you can go back to Ibrox Park, you've got a chance, because it's a very, very tough place to go. One of the hardest places in Europe, I would say, especially if you're not used to that kind of atmosphere, So Leipzig just crumbled, basically. Leipzig just couldn't deal with it. And, we know that Leipzig are probably a better team than Rangers as well, but they just couldn't deal with the atmosphere, in my opinion. Would you agree with that, Rory? Do you think it was a case of that, or?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Rangers have used that atmosphere on a number of occasions because they were ball in by Rangers. Sorry, just speaking of a bit of danger for Frankfurt. Where on earth is the ball going here? And they just about scramble it clear, Frankfurt, and now they're on the break. Oh, you got to play that ball. Obviously the atmosphere at Ibrox is really high up there in terms of a European atmosphere to take in. Teams do struggle when they go there. I think Rangers took deficits in 2 out of their 3 legs. I think obviously down to Ibrox to turn over game.
Braga as well. They were down.
Well, So it's been incredibly important for them to be able to react in that regard and get those wins. Funnily enough, obviously Frankfurt have got a really impressive record in Europe in the fact that they went unbeaten in the group stage and they're unbeaten in the tournament, which is incredibly impressive and why they deserve to be here. But I think Rangers have lost the most amount of games in the competition as a team, joined with a few other teams. think it's maybe 4 or 5 games, and yet they've still got to the final. So it just goes to show, like you said, how resolute they've been. Here's Knauf down the right again for Frankfurt into the box. Oh, is he at the post? No.
I've not quite got that on mine yet. But yeah, I think you're right, actually, Rory. Yeah, I think they really struggled through the group. I remember, I think they had to beat, I think it was Sparta Prague 2-0 at home. Again, it was the home game that got them through, you know. But I remember in the group stage, Lyon absolutely walked that group. I think Lyon got like 16 or 18 points, and I think Rangers went through on second with like 6 or 7 points or something, you know. So. Yeah. You know, I mean, obviously, and then they had that famous win over Dortmund. I mean, that ultimately is what set them up for this run, you know, because that was massive, really. I think, yeah, it was saved onto, it was saved, that one, by McGregor. McGregor is a solid keeper, despite being 40 years old, you know. He's a very, very solid goalkeeper, that's for sure.
Yeah, and a chance from the corner as well. A nice, nicely taken, low drilled corner onto the edge of the area for Lindstrom there. But I think he was voted recently the rookie of the season, wasn't he, in the Bundesliga, Lindstrom?
The what, sorry?
He was voted the rookie of the year, so like the young player of the year.
Well, he was good, that's for sure.
Yeah,
so.
He certainly won the contenders, and pretty sure he actually won the trophy. Here come Frankfurt again. Oh, that's pretty wild. Again from So, he's had a few chances from outside the box now. So yeah,
Frankfurt are just dominant, aren't they? I mean, I am a bit, to be honest, that Knauf chance was a really good one, in truth. I mean, it opened up for him, really, didn't it? And he went for the near post, when in my view he should have gone for the far post, really, of McGregor there. I think if he'd have gone for the far post and he did have room, you know, it probably would have been 1-0 now to Frankfurt. But I would probably say they've had 2 decent chances so far, really, Frankfurt. And you know, Rangers have had absolutely nothing, basically, have they? Like 0 in 20, 21 minutes. They've not had a single half chance yet. But, you know, they won't be afraid, you know. Rangers won't be scared of that. You know, they'd kind of expected that Frankfurt would probably have had the better of the game, I would have thought. But, you know, obviously they've had chances, probably, you know, 2 good chances and probably 2 or 3 half chances as well, I would say. Would you agree with that, Rory, or am I being a bit generous there?
Yeah, no, two definite chances if you count Kamada's, Knauf's, and then the chance from the corner. So it's three good chances really for Frankfurt already, you'd say. But I do agree with what you say in terms of what you say with Rangers. I don't think it will bother them at all. They just know that they'll have to soak up pressure at times, and that's what they're doing. Frankfurt just on the ball at the moment still, you know, obviously with the decent amount of possession, it's gone back to Trapp, who plays long again for Knauf, often looking for that ball in the wide channels. And interestingly enough, Mark, the ball's probably gone down the right-hand side quite a lot more than the left, down where Kostic should be. You would have thought that you want to, see a bit more of Kostic on the ball in order to get that real quality in terms of delivery into the box.
Yeah, I think Knauf is probably the key man nowadays, isn't he? He probably has been, but he's such a good player. But yeah, I would like to see a bit more from Kostic in the game. He's been a bit of a passenger so far, which is surprising considering how much of the ball Frankfurt have had. But I guess, you know, it just shows the quality of Knauf, really, you know, and he is a big reason why they're here in the final. But I do believe that, in my opinion, that left foot of Kostic is one of the best in Europe. I really do. The guy, if you've not watched him before, that kind of cross that comes in from the left is just electric. And also his shot as well with that left foot, you know, he hits it like an absolute rocket into the bottom corner, you know, and he gets pretty much all his goals are that kind of goal, aren't they, you know?
Yeah, they are. Good bit of defending there from Frankfurt. I think it might have even been Knauf tracking back there, actually, getting in front of his man. As Rangers have finally got themselves a bit of a foothold on the ball, playing long, and then recycling the ball again. So they're starting to feel a little bit more confident. Almost 25 minutes gone of the Europa League final. Hope everyone that's watching is enjoying the game so far. haven't obviously had as much action as maybe we would have liked to in terms of goals. Having said that, oh no, Rangers almost gave away the ball in a silly position there, but they've got it back. If you're new to the channel and you've just stumbled across us, hope you're enjoying the watch along. Hope you're enjoying what you're hearing and seeing. And if you are new, please do drop a like on the video that you're watching now. Comment along if you're new. We really enjoy getting new people on the channel and having communication via the live chat, and we like to take questions. So if you do have any questions, fire them in and we'll answer them straight away. And of course, please do subscribe to the channel, because that really helps us out with regards to algorithms and all sorts, pushing the channel as far forward as we can. So obviously, good evening to Mark Baker tuning in. Glad that you're watching and being able to join us for a bit, Mark, as well. And everyone else who is watching at the moment. And it looks like I thought Rangers had a free kick there, but it's not. It's play on. Mark, who do you think will be happier so far then after 25 minutes? I suppose both teams will be fairly okay with things.
Yeah, I would say Frankfurt will be happy with the performance, but they'll be a bit gutted they're not 1-up, really. These big finals are decided on defined moments. Do you know what I mean? Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. And at the end of the day, if you're getting half chances in the first 20 minutes, you could do it putting them away at the end of the day. I'm one of those believers that football ultimately comes down to tiny, fine details. You know what I mean? And often these finals more so than ever, and I think if you get a half chance in a final, you kind of need someone to step up and take it, and obviously Kamada's had one, Knauf's had one, and neither of them have been able to take them so far. But I think Rangers, they're probably aware of the limitations ultimately. Do you know what I mean? I mean, if you look at their budget, even compared to Frankfurt, it'll be minuscule. Obviously the shot coming just wide from Aribo as well. It's obviously been blown up for a free kick. But yeah, I think they do have quality in the side, Rangers, but it's not compared to the quality that Frankfurt have, But I just think for Rangers, they'll just want to kind of, their goal will be to keep it tight, as it often is for teams of the likes of Rangers. It's and I just think they'll want to keep it tight. They'll be happy to go to extra time, penalties, and the lot. I don't think they'll be rushing this game at all. They'll just be happy to stay in. They always know that if they do go a goal down, they've got that famous grit and famous determination to get back in it if they really need to. But, obviously for Frankfurt, there is a bit more pressure because they're the favourites. But we have seen, anyone watching the game can probably see that Frankfurt probably do have a more quality in the side. Obviously we're just having a cooling break as well.
Yeah,
it's very, very hot over there as well. So yeah.
Yeah, cooling break. That is definitely, might be a first. Who knows, in Europa League history? Yeah. Maybe we can claim history on this watch along, because the first ever cooling break. We're not doing so well on goals so far, but that will come. We've had a cooling break.
Our cooling break.
Yeah, of course. But it does give the managers a chance to have a quick word with the players. Can see Glasner having a quick word with Toure, and I think that might have been Tuta there with regards to maybe how they're defending. Looks like Gio Van Bronckhorst has got the whole team in there for a bit of a team chat. A very smartly dressed Van Bronckhorst, so fair play to him in this very hot weather, looking very smart. Do you think the experience of Van Bronckhorst might be an important one today, Mark, with regards to what he's been and what he's achieved in football already?
Yeah, I think obviously he's been a top footballer, only for the Netherlands, for Arsenal. I think he even had a spell at Barcelona as well, didn't he? I mean, he's one of the players that I remember from being a lot younger, watching Arsenal, I think in the 90s and stuff. He was a really, really good player. Yeah, I think managerially, his main success was at PSV, I think it was. So managerially, he's not the most successful manager ever. And to be honest, I heard that some Rangers, I've heard that he's kind of mixed with Rangers fans, surprisingly, because obviously Gerrard preceded him, and Gerrard just tore it up on all ends, didn't he? I mean, he stopped Rangers from winning, Celtic from winning 10 titles in a row, but his league form has been bang average in truth for Van Bronckhorst. But in Europe, it's similar to Frankfurt in many ways. I guess the league season will be considered a bit of a failure, really, in many ways. But obviously the fact that they've made this kind of centerpiece final is just massive for both clubs, and I think both will be happy, both will be enjoying the experience. But obviously Glasner's also had a bit of experience too in Austria, and then obviously at Wolfsburg as well, so he's not exactly a novice.
No, far from. Good bit of defending there from I think it was Bassi from Rangers. Long free kick, quality as per usual from Kostic. Really dangerous ball and cleared away from a corner, which we've got now for Frankfurt. Can they make the most of this? Whipped in and easily dealt with. Oh my God. Volleyed back in. Looked like it might have was about to go in all the way there, but another key block, maybe made by a Frankfurt player, actually, by accident. And Rangers can clear, but it's coming back straight to them. And, oh, wow. Who was that? Was that Lindstrom?
It's still not on mine, that one. Yeah.
It was Kostic having a speculative volley from... I thought he hit the bar. No, it hits the kind of top of the netting, actually, in the corner. So that was a good effort, actually, to be fair. A replay of the... Yeah, it's hit Kamada, that volley that came in.
Yeah, I just seen it. Yeah,
yeah that's.
I think we're starting to see the quality of Kostic now, though, aren't we? That free kick and then the corner coming in. This is the quality of him. The set pieces are just outstanding, Andy. And obviously we saw that fantastic volley. He's just smashed in as well. Like, he's really getting involved. The last minute, he's had 3 big involvements in the game, Kostic. And like this shows his quality. I mean, that volley was a real good effort. If it had been just a meter to the other side, I think McGregor would have had big problems there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Just seeing a figure or a statistic come up on my screen. 10 goal attempts to 1 so far in Frankfurt's favour. But, of course, the most important stat is that it is 0-0 so far in the Europa League final between Frankfurt and Rangers, with Rangers with a long free kick, which is half dealt with and actually has set up a Frankfurt counter-attack here. Rafa ball right into the air. Oh, that's a bit of a nothing cross/shot. It was Kostic, actually. I need my eyes testing even more. If you're seeing it now, Mark, literally running the length of the pitch to then kind of not really shoot and not really cross, although he didn't really have too much support.
But I think it's absolutely key that Kostic is getting involved. In fact, we've just kind of like famous commentators curse. We talked about that a lot on our last stream, didn't we, Rory? But we just said that Kostic hasn't been in it enough, and he's literally the last 2 since the cooling break. He's had like 4 kind of involvements in the game, hasn't he? Which is I mean, you say it wasn't that bad. I don't think that shot really. I think it was like he didn't get as much kind of. I wouldn't say he got as much power as he usually does on it, but it was that kind of classic left wing, that left run down the left wing and then the shot. That's like vintage Kostic, basically. It's like. He didn't quite get behind it though, did he? Normally he smashes it right down accurately between the keeper and the post, doesn't he? But he didn't quite catch it. I wouldn't say it was a terrible effort, but Kostic is the best player on the pitch for me, in terms of raw quality. And if he can keep doing what he's done the last 2 or 3 minutes, then Rangers have got problems, I would say,
Absolutely. Rangers trying to just build up a bit of an attacking piece of play. And try and hit Aribo. It's a big old job for Aribo, isn't it? Playing across that back 3 of Frankfurt, they'll all have their individual instructions as to whether to engage with him or not. On this occasion, they were able to get a tackle in and get out for a throw-in, which Rangers have now still got possession deep in Frankfurt's half. Right now with Tavernier, who's been, without trying to curse him or make him score, he's been fairly quiet so far. Tavernier from an attacking point of view, but obviously Rangers haven't had loads of the ball in those areas. And now Rangers have worked it all the way across to the left-hand side. And it's Toure this time making the tackle. We'll be 33 minutes in now. So, about 10, 12 minutes before half time. Rangers, of course, now starting to build a bit of confidence into the game. That the fact that they haven't conceded yet, and are obviously well and truly in this game, and they might just get a bit of a scramble ball here, but I think Frankfurt are able to deal with it. Mark, what do you reckon in terms of how each side will maybe like remember their seasons regarding how successful the seasons would be without a Europa League trophy to mark it? Obviously, Rangers are in a cup final still to come, but obviously ultimately threw away the league, and Frankfurt have had a pretty average season in the Bundesliga themselves. So what would you reckon would both deem their seasons a bit of a disappointment if they weren't able to come away with the win tonight?
I definitely wouldn't say it's been a disappointment. I mean, let's be honest, neither of these sides, in terms of budget and possibly quality, probably belong in the final in terms of that. But both of them have had some unforgettable nights in this tournament, that's for sure. Like Frankfurt in Barcelona, Rangers in Dortmund, Frankfurt in obviously West Ham. I mean, a lot of people underplay that win at West Ham, but at the end of the day, West Ham were tipped by most people to win that quite comfortably. I wouldn't say it was as big a win as the Barcelona one, but it was still impressive to beat them home and away. So credit for that. But I think both sides will still consider it a good season, to be honest. Because to make the Europa League final, as I say, remember the Europa League this year had the likes of Dortmund, Barcelona, Napoli involved in there, West Ham. Like, there's been a lot of good teams, and it's been a very strong Europa League actually this year. I think it's been a very, very good Europa League. A tournament that I've always enjoyed personally as well. I know, like a few years ago, a lot of Brits kind of gave it some stick, didn't they? But I think the last few years, a lot of people started to say, the Europa League's better than what we originally gave it credit for, And I think I've always been a fan of the Europa League, in truth, Seems as though free kick there, Sauer's foul, Kent, looked a little bit soft, that one, but it's a free kick in a good position. Has it been taken on yours, Rory, by now?
Yeah, it has. It's been whipped in, and it was a good header, actually. I think it was Lundstrom, and Trapp just had to make sure, so he's tipped it over the bar for a corner, which is now being taken. Tavernier's got this kind of technique, or I don't know if he's doing it on purpose, of really giving the ball a lot of airtime, really kind of giving it a kind of a big loop. Whether that's just him miskicking it or what he's trying to do on purpose, I don't know. That's a bit of a naughty tackle. And so Frankfurt have dealt with that particular attack from Rangers, and Tavernier will have to trot back. Tavernier versus Kostic there. Good little matchup.
Yeah. I think it was going in, that header from Lundstrom as well. It was, as you say, he's got a very good technique. I don't know if he always, maybe some Rangers fans in the chat can tell us if he always does this. As they called him at Wigan, Jimmy Tav. But I mean, well, what a player. Like, it's a great set piece, that for sure. It's obviously it's the battle of two great set piece takers as well, because Kostic is a world-class set piece taker as well, So it's, I mean, Tavernier was seen as a really good player at Wigan too, and I think he actually left. A lot of the Wigan fans weren't happy when he was initially sold. I actually think he's been there a few years now at Rangers, and I remember most Wigan fans wanted him to stay, and he used to be really good at set pieces for Wigan too, but for some reason they let him go. But I know he's gone on to become one of Rangers' best players, as far as I know. Maybe some Rangers fans in the chat could correct me on that, but I think he looks a good player. Any player that's got that great set piece is always worth something, I'm just looking now. He actually only played 11 games for Wigan, but a lot of Wigan fans liked him a lot. And a lot of surprise that he was kind of let go, to be honest. He's gone on since to make over 250 apps for Rangers, so he's almost like a club legend, really, in some ways,
Yeah.
But I would have liked him. I would still like him back at Wigan, to be honest. Obviously Wigan promoted to the Championship. Who knows, But I mean, he's gone on to become a Rangers legend, and rightly so, But for me, I would have liked him to stay at Wigan, to be honest, Tavernier.
Yeah, absolutely. With regards to how the game's going now, just a free kick for Rangers, which was taken by McGregor, flicked on nicely to Aribo, who's starting to grow into the game, cut back, which does not go out for a corner, although Rangers have still got the ball, and now it has gone out for a corner, I think, or a throw-in. I think Rangers are playing the game and the situation quite well, aren't they? Slowing the ball and the game down where they need to, taking their time over set pieces, which of course could well be key. As you mentioned, Mark, it's the fine the small print is those little battles, those little moments in football games, and particularly in finals that, ultimately win you or lose you the trophy. So Rangers being very careful on what they do with set pieces. And the ball is, again, with Rangers. Be interesting to see the possession stats over maybe the last 5 to 10 minutes, because Rangers have definitely grown into this, haven't they, Mark?
Yeah. They're looking a lot better and they're playing to the strengths. I think that's one of the good things that Rangers do. They kind of look for those set plays, the corners, the free kicks, and they know that's where they can hurt Frankfurt, and they have done it. That free kick was a really well worked move. The header from Lundstrom a few minutes ago. That's how they're going to get a goal for me, Rangers. I don't think they're going to have the quality to cut Frankfurt apart. Although I'll probably say that in 2 minutes they probably will do it. But. I think set plays are, they are the danger for Frankfurt, and we know that German teams historically don't have a great record at set plays as well. That's the problem, and I think, German teams, even the very, very top teams you buy into this world, they often tend to struggle to defend set pieces. And Dortmund, we know, have had all kinds of problems with that, haven't they? So, Van Bronckhorst is a smart manager. He'll know about that. That's where they can hurt the Frankfurt side, I would imagine.
Yeah, another set piece. Rangers again take their time over it, although this one is slightly overhit. Goes out for a Rangers throw-in, which they actually take quite quickly on this occasion. Obviously feel like they're starting to get a bit of momentum in the game, although they pass it all the way back to Bassi within their own half. So we're on roughly 41 minutes in now, the game. So obviously getting very close to half time now. And you have to say that Rangers are starting to take control of this game, realistically. Frankfurt's levels with regards to maybe pressing the ball and trying to keep a hold of it have dropped, I'd say, quite significantly from the first 25, 30 minutes. So maybe they're just going through a period because it's so hot and the weather is so tricky to play in that they just say, that's us until half time. Do you reckon, Mark, or do you reckon they'll try and go again soon?
Yeah, I think obviously it's just death by set pieces at the moment from Rangers. And I think Frankfurt, they need to stop making these fussy fouls on the wings, because this is real danger territory for. I mean, a couple of them have been soft, and I think it's quite clear that I don't want to accuse them of diving, but sometimes you have to do that in football nowadays. So, if you see a free kick in a good position, you've got to go down at the end of the day, and I think Rangers have done that well, and they are a side that play to the strengths, and they know exactly what they're going to do. And, I've been really impressed with Tavernier's free kicks. I just think he's had 3 or 4, and not one of them has been bad so far, So
yeah,
I think,
just another Rangers player taking a tumble, as you mentioned it, Mark. Aribo went down under a bit of a 50-50, maybe a shoulder charge there. But again, like you said, if you're going to take the tumble, you're taking a chance, aren't you? And sometimes it might go your way. Maybe just planting the seed in the referee's head for next time. Yeah, I think your quote or your summary of death by set pieces almost summarizes this first half so far of Europa League Final. Again, poor quality from Frankfurt in a good position there, not being able to recycle the ball. Having said that, they've just won it back. Kostic now over to Kamada on the edge of the Rangers box. And it's worked its way out to Canal, fall in, corner, ball. So that was better from Frankfurt. And again, as per usual, it all stemmed from that man, Filip Kostic, with a bit of quality. So, yeah, we've got a corner to come here. Can Frankfurt make the most of it? Tavernier probably got away with a booking there because of his foul on Lindstrom, but Kostic played on. So you can thank Kostic for that. Otherwise, Tavernier would definitely be in the book. So corner here for Frankfurt. Whipped in, well headed away. And now Rangers can maybe... Oh, no, they can't. Very easy dealt with, actually, by Frankfurt. And the ball is back with Kevin Trapp. Frankfurt can start to build again. We've got 1 more minute of normal time here in the Europa League Final. Watchalong here on the Bundesliga show. So can Frankfurt steal a goal just before half time? They've got the ball in Rangers there half right now, and just as I say that, they've kicked it straight through to McGregor. Mark, they'll be frustrated with their lack of quality, and maybe that is, match final nerves.
Yeah, I think they just need to slow it down. I'm not going to say slow it down, but just to there's been a bit of poor decision making at times from Frankfurt. I would say, sometimes they try and play the ball too fast, sometimes a little bit too slow. But I'd probably say, in truth, now having analysed the whole thing, obviously just before halftime, I think probably Rangers will be slightly the happier now. In truth, they know how they can win the game. Basically, for me now, Rangers, and that's by set pieces. We've seen that. They do have that play, and there still is a lot of pressure on Frankfurt to go out and win this game because, they have shown that they probably have more quality on the ball, don't they? And that is absolutely massive in football, of course. But I just think what I like about Rangers is that they just know how to play to the strengths. And I think those kind of football teams are always strong, like we saw it in the past with the likes of Tony Pulis. I mean, they were horrible to watch, but they turned teams over left, right, and centre. They had those famous long throws, didn't they? Do you remember them, Rory? Actually, they was by Rory Delap. Yeah, that was it. Yeah. The most famous Rory on earth, I think. Yeah, but literally, he was just like launching them in. And I'm not going to say Rangers are quite so direct as that, but they're a side that know what they're doing, and they know exactly how to win games of football. And they're not the prettiest side to watch, with all due respect to Rangers fans. But I mean, they know how to win games of football, and I would say they potentially have more idea than Frankfurt. In truth, obviously Frankfurt rely on kind of individual brilliance, or a lot of pace. Pace is very, very key to the Frankfurt side, and tricky players like Kamada and Lindstrom to kind of unlock defenses. But it's a kind of battle of two sides, isn't it, Rory? Two styles, Rory. To be honest, this one I think there's two very, very different styles involved in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not like tiki-taka versus tiki-taka, is it? Far from. We've got 6 added minutes onto this first half because of presumably the knock to Sebastian Rode, who has weathered it pretty well. He's obviously managed to continue just fine. So we're minute 39 into extra time. Chance here to whip in for Kamada. There's too much. And Kostic can maybe recycle it. And it's gone out for a throw-in. 2 minutes gone in first half extra time in the Europa League final. So there's still 4 minutes left for potentially our first goal of the game. Can we get a crucial goal for either side here? Rafa Borre trying to do something in the corner here. He's recycled it to Kostic and now into So. And now they're trying to switch play back on their own half. So, yeah, bit of a mixed bag from both teams so far. Mark, with, presuming we don't get a goal in the next 3.5 minutes, which we could well do as Frankfurt continue to build and start to have another good spell of football. Who do you reckon's had the better of the first half?
It's a tough one, really, isn't it? Because I think, Frankfurt have had the two best chances, which both came in the first 15 to 20 minutes, But Rangers, I would say, probably executed their game plan a little bit better, I would say. I just, as I said before, they know how to execute a game plan, do Frankfurt, do Rangers, But I don't think both will be like overly happy, but both won't be overly sad, really. At the end of the day, it's 0-0. But I'd probably say just about Rangers would be happier, because, Frankfurt have seen those two chances go begging. I thought Rangers started really poorly, in truth. Probably the first 10, 15 minutes, they didn't look very good at all, But they've got the shape back again, They're hurting Frankfurt with those set pieces, and yeah. To be honest, the game has kind of gone kind of similarly to how I expected it in some ways, in truth.
Yeah, for sure. Just to say to everyone that's watching, again, thank you for joining us. I hope you're really enjoying the show. And me and Mark trying to bumble our way through this Europa League final and make it sound more entertaining than it perhaps is at the moment. I'm sure it will get better. But for the halftime break, if you're at a loss or whilst you're getting your cup of tea or whatever you're doing, think of a few questions and throw them over to me and Mark in the live chat, and we'll answer them at halftime. So if you've got anything with regards to the game, the two teams, Bundesliga related or whatever. If you want to ask us, pop it in the live chat and we'll make sure we answer them at half time. So you've got about 2 minutes to think of some good ones for half time. And before we do, Glasgow Rangers will have to defend another set piece themselves as Frankfurt have got another corner here. So let's see what happens with that. 4.5 minutes gone in first half extra time. Kostic again with the cross. It was a bit deep, that one. And fairly well dealt with. The referee's playing on here. Chance for Rangers to break. And that break has come to an end because of, again, some pretty poor quality regards to the football. Maybe one for the purists so far, Mark?
Yeah, I would absolutely say so. It's again, I just think Rangers, this is in Germany, this is what they think of as kind of classic British football, really, in some ways. They always make jokes to me and say, like kick and rush and things like that is English football. It's definitely not for like the kind of modern day your Klopps and your Guardiolas of this world. It's a lot of defending, especially from Rangers, but it's I definitely think the second half with both sides shooting in front of the home fans as well, that's going to be massive too, because we've got brilliant set of like ultras behind both goals here, massive. Every single Frankfurt fan has come dressed in white, which is fantastic to see. Do you know what I mean? Rangers also, it's just a sea of blue, a sea of Union Jacks, a little bit of orange in there as well, because I think their away kit's orange, isn't it? Right? So you can see a little bit of orange in the. There's also a little bit of area which is mixed by the look of it as well. Around the halfway line, it looks like there's a mixture of blue and white shirts, which is it's good to see. That the fans can kind of behave themselves and sit next to each other in a neutral part. You often see that in these finals, don't you? But it's really, really good to see. And I guess it's half time. So what do you think, Rory? The first half, are you impressed with? Which side are you most impressed with then overall?
I mean, I'm neutral in the fact that I think both teams have done a good job. Neither team have lost the game in the first half, so obviously that's important for both. Like you say, I think I agree with you in the fact that Rangers have executed their game plan probably a lot better. And Frankfurt, just those inaccuracies are really is what costing them so far. So let's try and maybe go through a few of the match stats so far. So let's just have a look at the statistics, which hopefully you can see on your screens right now. So the away side, Rangers. So if we're looking at first half possession, Mark, maybe a bit of a surprise, 58% possession for Rangers.
Yeah, I think most of that came probably in the second part. I guess a lot of that is because, they play a lot slower, don't they? Like Frankfurt, typical German style football, like to attack. Like as soon as they get the ball, they're not thinking about passing it around the back. Do you know what I mean? And that's one of the things we enjoy about watching about the Bundesliga, isn't it, Rory? Like teams don't mess around playing it around the back a lot. They get it forward. So although I didn't think the Rangers had as much as 58, but I guess a lot of that was just, playing it around the back and passing it between the centre halves and stuff. It's Frankfurt don't really do that so much. They always try to get it to the likes of Kostic and Knauf and get that ball forward, don't they? That's what they like to do. So, I think it's a surprise for sure. And I wouldn't have thought that. Would you have thought that, Rory, after watching that first half, the Rangers had 58% possession?
No, I wouldn't have thought that at all, actually. But like we said, Frankfurt did get a lot more sloppy as the game went on, and they were fairly inaccurate. Goal attempts, obviously, that is quite obvious that we've seen in front of us. 11 goal attempts to 3 for Frankfurt, with just the 3 on target, though. Obviously, one of them being So's effort early on, and can't think of the other two.
Kamada and Knauf.
Kamada and Knauf with their efforts on target, but certainly they'll be hoping for a bit better in that regard. And then, as we mentioned, the set pieces have been very big for Rangers. So 7 free kicks for Rangers. Not necessarily them gaining those set pieces by brilliant bits of play, but mainly some nervous tackles by Frankfurt. Although a lot of them haven't been in brilliant positions at the very least. I suppose they're fouling quite high up the pitch. 4 corner kicks to 2 for Frankfurt, but again, they've not been able to make the most of that. We've had 3 goalkeeper saves for McGregor, whereas Kevin Trapp, the one save that he had to make was from the header from Lundstrom, which is, just to be safe, he was in total control. See what other stats we can pick up here. 7 fouls from Frankfurt. And again, quite a lot of surprises with regards to those bottom stats, Mark. Total passes, completed passes, more attacks and more dangerous attacks for Rangers. Yeah,
it really is. Yeah, but I guess they did have that last 15 minutes. I would say was very much Rangers, and it's like they got probably 4 or 5 free kicks in good positions, and it's I think some of those stats you've got to question. I mean, what is considered to be a dangerous attack? I guess you got to question. I think sometimes they basically consider if you have the ball, like in the center circle, that's a dangerous attack. And I think though nowadays you see a lot of stats in football, don't you? And it's sometimes you can't read that much into them. I wouldn't say. I always think the key stats are, possession. Even like expected goals, which is obviously the one that a lot of people like, I think even that is flawed in some ways. You know what I mean? Because if you have a penalty, I think it gives you like 0.8 of 1 goal or something like that. Whereas if you do nothing else, you'll still have almost 1 goal per game. So I think I wouldn't read too much into that, but definitely it tells you something. Rangers have done better than sometimes you can be a bit biased, I guess. And I guess we've probably been a little bit biased in favor of Frankfurt because obviously Rangers have done better than probably what we gave them credit for, really.
Yeah, well, we did say, to be fair, at the end of the half that they were in control of the game and had been having a lot better of the play for sure, which is suggested in those stats. As we haven't had any questions in, what I'll do is I'll go for a few interesting stats that I've managed to pick up along the way, and then maybe we'll kind of ponder on a few other bits before we go back into the game. So I'll just throw these at you, Mark, and see what you make of them. So far in the tournament, club captain and Wigan, not so much legend, but former player James Tavernier is the competition's top goal scorer. Wow. So he's a defender and he's the top goal scorer with 7 goals. I presume quite a lot of those were penalties though. And so with 7 goals, Daichi Kamada is in 4th with 5 goals. So they're quite interested in the fact that Tavernier's got 7, but Kamada playing well, particularly in Europe, hasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, 5 goals is really, really good from his position. Obviously, he's a midfielder, obviously attacking midfielder, but it's still good. We often say, actually, in the Bundesliga, he doesn't score as many as he could do, but he is a fantastic player. And I think, especially in the first 15 minutes of this game, we saw his quality, didn't we? That's for sure. He's a very tricky player, good with the ball at his feet. One of many Japanese players in the Bundesliga who's been quality for the last few years, Also in the Scottish League, I think Celtic also have they're famous for having like 3 or 4 good Japanese players as well nowadays. So, I think very, very good player. Possibly not done as much as he would have liked after that first 15 minutes, I would say, in this game. But quality player, always a player that I enjoy watching in the Bundesliga, and I think perhaps the fact that Tavernier is the top scorer could be to do with the fact he's a penalty taker as well. I know he takes the penalties, but you can't take that away from him. At the end of the day, you have to score the penalties. Do you know what I mean? And I think, I wouldn't be surprised if 3 or 4 of those goals were penalties, so to be true. But, you still have to put them in the back of the net. So, it's still a great achievement for a right back to be like top scorer in the Europa League at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And he could well yet have to take a penalty this evening in any context. We will have to see. Next stato I'll throw at you. Connor Goldson has the most ball recoveries in the Europa League so far with 92, and that is by quite a distance the most. So going to show that Rangers have built their solid foundations and progress so far through this tournament, through really good defending as well. He's ahead of second placed Evan Ndicka, who's got 75. So, he is quite far out ahead. And third place, Tuta, So obviously, a lot of these stats are, of course, going to be high with Rangers and Frankfurt because of the fact that they've gone so far in the tournament. But again, just showing how important the defensive kind of area of both teams has been. Adding to that, Alan McGregor has saved the most shots in the competition with 38 ahead. A second place, Kevin Trapp, who's got 31. So just going to show how important the defensive side of things has also been for both sides so far.
Yeah, I like the look of Goldson so far. I think he's looked good in this match, and I've seen him. I don't watch much Scottish football, but when I've seen him against Celtic, sometimes I watch the Old Firm derby. And I think when I've seen him against Celtic, he's always looked one of the kind of shining lights, and he is a good player. And I think he's been linked heavily with the Premier League. I think that's for sure, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him rock up at the Premier League within the next year or two. To be honest with you. I think he is English as well, right? I think he's an English player. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
yeah, he is English.
I definitely think he's got a great future ahead of him. I don't know how old he is. Do you have the stat for that? How old Goldson is? It's I guess he's not so old because he's not been around long.
No, I don't think he's. I
29 actually. I just looked now. He's 29, and he played. He started off at Shrewsbury actually. He made 106 apps for Shrewsbury. Then he had a few years at Brighton where he didn't really seem to make his name in truth when they were in the Championship, and then he got the move to Rangers, and that's where his career's kicked off. So perhaps his age could go against him a bit, because centre halves sometimes get injury ravaged into the 30s a little bit, don't they? Obviously, it's a tough position, and but yeah, he's looked a quality player, and I think Bassey as well. Bassey is also a good player. I like the look of him. So
I like Bassey,
it's a very, very good defense, that's for sure. And I think it's and I think McGregor, despite the fact he's 40, he's still a quality goalkeeper. And to be honest, I'm a bit disappointed to hear he's retiring in truth. I think he's a very, very good goalkeeper at any level, to be honest with you. I would say he could still do a job in the Premier League in truth, McGregor. I think there's worse goalkeepers than him in the Barclays Premier League nowadays, to be honest. I think he's looked good in this game, and every time I've seen him during this Europa League campaign, he's made saves. As you say, he's the top saver in the Europa League, and also he's got that experience and leadership as well. And I think he looks a quality goalkeeper, and another legend really at the club, a guy who's been there a long, long time, McGregor.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think I think he's got more to give the game of football, to be honest. And I'm sad to see he's retiring, to be honest.
Indeed. Well, let's hope both keepers are a lot busier in the second half. So we'll be kicking off the second half quite soon. Right. Well, Mark, first and foremost, with regards to the second half, what do both sides need to do better? And then secondly, what do you reckon with regards to any potential subs that we might see, obviously from a Frankfurt point of view, which you'll know more?
Yeah, I think Frankfurt just need to be a bit more patient. At times they've rushed it a little bit. They've kind of played the ball forward too fast. I think they do need to do a little bit more of that. It's a final, and sometimes you do need to kind of keep a bit more possession over the back and build the play a bit. I know it's not really their style. Their style's more to get it to the fast men and the tricky men to do the business, but that could be a problem. The fact they've only had 42% possession, that they're going to get tired. I mean, I played football. I know how knackering it is when you're off the ball. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You have to keep your space, and it's a big part of football, to keep the ball and to kind of maintain stamina. I think that could be a worry for Frankfurt. They do need to get more of the ball, especially considering I would expect that Rangers could potentially be a fitter side, because British sides are pretty much always very, very fit. Do you know what I mean? And I think, that could definitely be a concern for Frankfurt. I think Rangers don't really need to change much because, I think despite the fact that Frankfurt were probably the more dangerous side, I think the game plan of Rangers was better, in my opinion, and I think they just need to keep playing these set pieces into the box, and eventually one will go in. I think as for substitutions, I think potentially Hrustic could come on at some point. I think Röder had a really, really tough first half. Hrustic is a young central midfielder. I think we could see him come on. He had quite a good second half of the season. And to be honest, he was in the first team until Röder kind of got his first team place back in the last 5 or 6 games, mostly due to his Europa League performances as well. So I think we could see him at some stage potentially for Röder. He doesn't usually do the 90 minutes, Röder. So, yeah, I think we'll see him. I think Hauge, like he's been a disappointment, a massive disappointment for the Tart side. He actually signed from AC Milan in the summer, and he was highly rated, but he was very poor. And I think Frankfurt fans have been really disappointed with him after signing as one of the marquee signings really in summer. I think we could see him, though. He's the kind of player that, you know, potentially after 70, 75 minutes, if it looks like it's going to go to extra time, he could be seen as the match winner potentially, I would say.
Yeah, not any love for the elusive Sam Lammers.
Not really at all. No, I think he's got one goal in all comps, and he's just looked like he couldn't hit a barn door with a proverbial banjo for most of the season. You know, we could see him potentially because, you know, it's a hot night, and with 5 subs nowadays, you often do see managers using the whole kind of excess of the squad. I think Hasebe as well. I think he's like 37, the Japanese international. He often comes in to shore up as well. So I think if Frankfurt are winning late on in the game, I think we'll probably see him as well. Very, very experienced player in the Bundesliga. Been playing in Germany for I think like 20 years or 15 years or something. Doesn't play as much as he used to this season, but still a player that can, you know, can shore up and use his experience to kind of see the game out if it comes to that.
Sure. Do you think maybe someone with a lot of big match experience on the Rangers bench, a certain Aaron Ramsey, might have a say in this match?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, as a football fan in general, you know, I was surprised to see him not starting, but a few Rangers fans did tell me that he's not actually had the kind of impact that was hoped since signing from Juventus. I mean, he's been a quality player, Aaron Ramsey, and every time I see him for Wales, he's absolutely class. He's a class apart, and I am surprised not to see him. It could be a fact that he's not really suited to the style of play much because, you know, Lundstrom and Jack are very much like hard midfielders, you know, and I think obviously Wright, I'll be honest, I don't know that much about Wright, but I've heard he has been very good this season. And I guess that would be the position that Ramsey would probably be playing in, that attacking midfield. But I guess they want to go for a more resolute kind of defence, but definitely a player similar to Hauge that we could see in that second half. And I think obviously the Fashion Sakala, obviously his name is like kind of one of the most famous names in football nowadays. And I think he is seen as the Joker. They call him the Joker at Rangers, you know, and I think they say he's very raw, but he's supposedly very, very fast. And, you know, he has scored a few big goals in recent weeks for the side. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the second half as well.
Absolutely. Well, the players are coming out now back onto the pitch. It looks like Rangers have come out slightly before Frankfurt. Here they come now. We've got Owen Hargreaves on the punditry team for BT Sports this evening, obviously with his links to the Bundesliga. So it'd be interesting to see what he made of it, and maybe if, you know, slightly less of a English bias on the kind of commentary teams from BT Sports point of view. I love how they just go to Owen Hargreaves for everything Bundesliga related, though. There's not much.
The only one they have, I think, sometimes, you know.
Yeah, not much diversity in terms of kind of getting anyone else slightly more specific, but I guess, you know, that's the nature of having English broadcasters looking after these sort of games. It would have been very interesting if Leipzig were in this game as well. I would have liked to have seen the punditry lineup then. But yeah, Frankfurt are coming out now. Don't seem in a massive hurry, to be frankly honest. They probably all had a change of shirt, get themselves a bit more refreshed. Coming out now, and they'll be getting themselves ready mentally for a long haul, probably, Mark. It certainly shows no signs of it potentially not going to extra time and penalties at the moment.
Yeah, it's the first half, but obviously we often do, statistically, we see a lot more goals in football in the second half, don't we? So it's not a massive surprise. I think one of the hanging issues here is that it just seems so hot. Like both sides just seem tired. I wouldn't say tired, but they just seem drained a little bit, you know. And I think it shows the fact that, you know, Frankfurt are taking a long time to get onto that pitch, you know. And I think, you know, some of these guys, you know, you got Lindstrom from Denmark, you know, a lot of them are from like the Northern Hemisphere, you know, and I think they're not going to be dealing that well with the heat, are they? I think obviously they do have a couple of Brazilians and a couple of Africans in the side as well, but who might deal with it a bit better, I don't know. But I think, the heat could definitely be an issue for this Frankfurt side as well as Rangers. We know how Brits deal with heat, but and there's a lot of British players as well in that Rangers team. Tavernier, Jack, Goldson, Lundstrom, Wright, Kent. They're all British guys, aren't they? It's
absolutely.
McGregor, of course.
Yeah, so the second half is now back underway. Jessica McKenzie says, Mon the Jers, obviously a big Rangers fan there. So, Jessica, I hope you're enjoying the game so far. And yeah, lots of flares going off in the Frankfurt end by the looks of it. As the Ultras are in full force, all their flags being waved. It's a hell of a sight, actually, to be fair, Mark. I'm not sure if you're seeing the same things as me, but
yeah, I am now, yeah.
It looks pretty mental.
This is a classic Bundesliga atmosphere now,
Yeah.
I do think that, it's famous, like that advantage. They talk about that a lot in the Bundesliga when they're shooting towards the Ultras. It's a big deal, and the Ultras are going to try and make it an absolute carnival in that second half and bring that ball into the back of the net. I don't doubt that the Rangers fans will do the same, but I think it's a bit of a different kind of culture. Like British clubs don't really have Ultras as such. Do you know what I mean? And you could see well and truly now that those Ultras will be packed behind that Frankfurt goal, and you can see the kind of atmosphere they're creating with the flares, the colours, all dressed in white. Looks absolutely insane there, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, and they were doing their best there to suck the ball into the net as Frankfurt had an early corner, but again, really well defended by Rangers. Strong header out as they come again, Frankfurt, and win not free kick, win a throw-in high up the pitch. Tavernier with a bit of a grimace there that didn't look too good for him. Hopefully he's okay.
Some funny banners as well in there. I don't know if you could see them, Rory. Some funny banners from the Frankfurt fans as well. There, probably we can't mention them actually on live on air, unfortunately.
Okay.
But yeah, some not so pleasant things about UEFA and the police, I would say. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. It's behind. Yeah, there were some small banners there behind the Frankfurt goal saying like. Yeah, I'm not going to mention them on air for fear of getting getting the channel in trouble. But yeah, it's not very friendly towards UEFA or to the police actually.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Well, yeah. Talk to us a little bit whilst the game is obviously just getting back going, and we'll interject if we need to, Mark. A little bit about Frankfurt, the place and the people and the club. Very much kind of like we mentioned, very strong ultras who support the club, have their certain views. Just as we're going out, a shot. Oh my God! I thought I was deflected and in. Lindstrom with the shot on the edge of the area, deflected, presumably off a Rangers player, and it looked like it was going in. I think it's just gone wide.
Yeah. Yeah, he's given a goal kick though. By the look of it, it doesn't look like it. It was Tutor who had the shot. Actually, Tutor came in with the shot and just smashed it wide. Unfortunately, yeah, it's not far wide. It's a good effort from probably 35 yards. It's a dipping shot. McGregor, he didn't look too comfortable on that, really, did he? He looked right the way to see if it had gone past the post, but yeah, it remains 0-0. Yeah. But as for Frankfurt as a city, I mean, it's the second. It's I think the second or the third biggest city in Germany after Berlin. It's a massive city. I've been there twice before, and it's you can see the skyscrapers. It's a mixture of like rich and poor, basically. You've got some of the richest people in Frankfurt in the whole of Germany. Like a lot of bankers. Commerzbank, Deutsche Bank are all based in Frankfurt, but at the same time, obviously the football club has a history of violence, unfortunately, and they are known to be some of the biggest ultras and the hardest ultras. Apparently, they have a rivalry with Nuremberg as well. The ultras, they don't like each other. The Nuremberg ultras and the Frankfurt ultras, they're not the best of friends, so yeah. Sure. But yeah, I mean, for me, one of the best supported clubs in Europe. I mean, we saw it with 30,000 fans in Barcelona. I don't think there's ever been more away fans at a football match in history. 30,000 in the stadium. And it's like, and you see it again tonight. Obviously, a much smaller ground, the Sanchez Pizjuan. But yeah, it's still a very, very good crowd, and every single one of them dressed in white. It's just amazing. The way that these German clubs organize their ultras is a sight to behold. And when you see it live in the stadium too, it's like it makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end. You know what I mean? It's like absolutely, you feel the passion, you feel the love for the club, and you're not only representing the club, but you're representing the city when you put on that Frankfurt jersey. And it's a very important part of the culture of the club, and I think pretty much everyone in Frankfurt supports the Eintracht. It's a one club. Actually, no, they do have one other team in Frankfurt, I think, as well, but it's a much smaller. I think Kickers Offenbach is from Frankfurt too, but yeah, it's the main club in Frankfurt by a big distance. And I think, yeah.
Sure. So we're 5 minutes in now into the second half, and Frankfurt have made a much stronger start as they did with the first half, with a couple of efforts from Tuta and then from Lindstrom, the deflected shot, and Rangers now have the ball in possession with McGregor. Again, he's in absolutely no rush whatsoever to kind of to play it out. And they go for that long raking diagonal ball again from the fullbacks, which, again, on this occasion is defended well by Frankfurt. And again, it's back with Rangers in possession. So I guess from what we learned from half-time, Mark, is that it's probably no surprise that the possession is in favour of Rangers, actually, because they are starting to control and dominate the ball a lot more than Frankfurt, and Frankfurt are doing things a lot quicker.
They play it out from the back, don't they? I mean, I'd be interested to see the areas they have most of the possession. I would imagine like 60 to 70% of it would have been in the back line, between McGregor, and he's very comfortable on the ball, McGregor, isn't he? And he's clearly a very confident keeper. And I like the centre halves, I really do. I think both of them could probably play, in a top 5 European league, in truth. Although Goldson has just raked a pretty poor ball forward there, But I think defensively, I think Bassi as well looks a real player, both defensively and on the ball. He looks comfortable, And I think he's only a young man, Bassi, as well. So he's another one that could potentially play in a top 5 league moving forward. Although Rangers fans probably wouldn't thank me for saying that, really. But I have been impressed with him tonight. And yeah, I think all of the defensive line, really, for Rangers have been really, really good, including McGregor. And, Aribo has been decent. He's not had much to go off, but I'd say he's been decent, really, Probably the only ones that are missing, really, I don't think Kent's had much of the ball at all so far. But, going through now. Oh, Bore. Oh, he's been turned. Is he given the penalty? Surely. No. He's given a corner. What do you think of that one, Rory? I don't know if you're ahead of me.
There, slightly ahead of you.
I thought Goldson has made the tackle. I thought it was a stone waller from where I saw it,
Yeah, it did look dangerous, but I think, for me, it's probably not a pen. And unfortunately for Frankfurt, the corner leads to nothing, and Rangers are able to clear. Just had another few replays of the tackle, actually.
Yeah, I've seen it as well.
Yeah, on another day, could be a pen. Let us know in the comments. What do you reckon? Penalty or not?
I'm going to be honest. I think Rangers have had they probably had the better of the decisions so far. Obviously, we saw that awful tackle on Roder. I mean, he's still got that bandage on his head, so it was clearly a bad challenge. I mean, for me, that should have been at least a booking, really, surely, And I think, Tavernier should be on a book in the book as well for me for the pullback when obviously Kostic ended up getting the ball. I'd probably say it was just about not a penalty to me, to be honest, that one. But, they can be given, certainly. There's no question about that. And obviously no VAR check, should it have been checked by VAR, It's I definitely think Rangers can be quite happy with how the referees have refereed the game so far anyway. A few decisions have gone their way, I would say,
Yeah, just as Rangers get forward, actually, a bit of a mistake from Tuta by the looks of it, or maybe Knauf, actually. But they get away with it as the shot is spliced wide of goal. That was Kent, actually. So, as we mentioned, Mark, not seen too much of him, but that was a really good chance for him, actually. Now, as Frankfurt get forward down the left, is Kamada. that was decent. Well, they've held him up actually, and now it's still on the left. Ball crossed in, and it goes straight into McGregor's hands. Dan Green saying in the comments as well, Rangers giving a much better account of themselves than I expected. For Frankfurt would roll out 4-0 winners. So, yeah, interesting thoughts there, Dan. Good to see you in the chat as well. A good regular viewer of ours. So, Dan, hope you're enjoying the game from wherever you are watching, and indeed the watch along itself. Just as, again, Rangers building up from the back. Kind of feels, Mark, that this game is kind of leading up to a big crescendo or a big 20, 25 minutes of both teams potentially going for it. I'm not too sure.
I don't see a 0-0 draw here, to be true, because it's not open, but both teams are still attacking. There's no, as you say, that was by far Rangers' best chance of the game. You know what I mean? That's not good enough from Tuchel, and that was my fear actually for Frankfurt at the start. That we could see that kind of error. They've got away with it, but that was just not good enough from Tuchel there. It should have been an easy clearance, really, and he's kind of stumbled on the ball, hasn't he? And Aribo's kind of robbed him, played it out to Kent, who's woefully slashed it wide, really. He's got to be hitting the target minimum there for me, really. But that's always my fear with Frankfurt, really. They've always got that mistake in them, and we saw that, didn't we?
And speaking of mistakes, Rangers FC have taken the lead in the Europa League Final. But it looks like it might have been Torre just slips over, giving Aribo the rule of the pitch to go through one-on-one, and it's finished with aplomb. He's been playing well in the game so far, and we mentioned, Mark, those chances that come along will define this final, and we have our first goal, and it is Glasgow Rangers who take the lead here in the Europa League final. Just comes from an innocuous ball forward. I don't know who it is who slips over, but that's an absolute nightmare.
What's the header all about as well? What's that header all about? You can't be doing that. I'm sorry. This is exactly what did I tell you, Rory? You know what I mean? I mean, this is what happens, unfortunately, and this is the pity. Do you know what I mean? It's It's I can't say I'm surprised that this is how the goals come, but it's two poor mistakes. There's a poor header back which puts the defender under. I think it was actually Tutor's header back, and then I think it's Torre who's just fallen over. And I mean, that is just you don't do that in a major cup final. I'm sorry. And it's obviously fair play to Aribo. I could see he had quality, and he's finished that very, very confidently. Do you know what I mean? And he's very good finish. Absolutely crazy scenes, but you can't be doing that in a major cup final, unfortunately. And I can't say I'm overly surprised, Rory. I think I actually predicted it, that it could be. It was actually Sal with a poor header back. And
it was. Right.
Sal with a header back there. Yeah.
So we need, we need a response, don't we?
It's Tutor as well. It's Tutor who's fallen. He's lost his confidence. That's the thing. That mistake,
he's been hauled off as well. He's been subbed off straight away by Glasner. And as we mentioned, that experience has been brought on in the shape of Hasibi. So not exactly bringing on. That's a good bit of play. Oh, chance! Oh, it's deflected. Oh, it's wide. Lindstrom with the chance to almost equalise straight away. I think they're checking for potential handball here. Kostic cross, whip back in. Oh, has Bassi handballed that?
Oh, no.
Oh, no. I think he'll get away with it. I think his arm's low enough down.
Not good enough from two today. Looks absolutely good. But to serve up a performance like that in a cup final is just not good enough. And what did I say before the game, Rory? I was worried about that back three, didn't I? I said I was worried about that. And sure enough, that could potentially be the deciding factor.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. The corner that came from that chance, the deflection led to nothing. And Rangers have now got a free kick, although it's an incredibly soft free kick. Having said that, Oh, excuse me. So,
what did you think about the Bassi incident? You know, again, is it was it off his shoulder or yeah, it was
I
his
think,
chest. I think it was off his chest. Yeah,
yeah, off his chest.
great block again, actually by
Yeah,
Bassi.
arm was in a low position anyway, quite close to his body.
Mm.
Pretty desperate shouts, but that
Mm.
is, natural in the final.
Very, very frustrating this for Frankfurt. You know, again, it was a massive opening that, and he's just got to hit the damn target, hasn't he? You know, it's they've not done the big moments well enough here, Rangers. Frankfurt. I'm afraid. You know, they've had half chances in this final, and you've got to score. You know, you've got to score your chances. And Rangers have had two big chances, and they've scored one. Probably Frankfurt have had three big chances, and they've scored none. And that's the ultimate. You know. That's what these finals come down to, and you know it's not looking good at the moment for the German side. You know the Rangers fans are absolutely buoyant. You know I would expect Frankfurt to create another few chances, but it's whether they could put them away. They've just not managed to do so far this final. You know, and it's also it's whether they can keep strong at the back as well, because you know it's not looking too. It's actually his first goal in 15 matches in the Europa League as
Yeah,
well. Yeah,
I saw that
interesting
statistic.
stat there.
Well, what a good time to get your first goal. When the opportunity presents itself, you never know, and you have to be ready for it. And Aribo was another break in play here, as Toure got a bit of a whack in the face by Aribo, who's actually managed to get himself a yellow card as a result. Getting lots of panning shots across the ground now, celebrating Rangers fans, having a great time of it. And then they've gone straight onto Frankfurt fans who look particularly unimpressed. And again, a replay of the goal. Ugh, yeah. I mean, it's not even a great finish, I wouldn't say. But I mean, well, I can't really say that, can I? I'd have shanked it into Rosette myself.
Yeah.
I
think Tutor's going to be having nightmares, though, isn't he? Really, I mean, he's made two absolute stinker. He got away with the first one, you know.
Yeah.
But then the second one, I mean, he's just, well, what's he doing? You know, it's just. I get frustrated sometimes, you know, because you can't be doing that in major finals. I'm sorry, you know, and it's just. He's lost his confidence after the first one, hasn't he? And then he's seen that header coming back, and he's just panicked and slipped over, basically, hasn't he?
Yes, pretty much. Unfortunately for him, you know, off the back of just signing a new contract, which the club might now be maybe scratching their heads at, perhaps. No, that's obviously quite unfair because he has had a good season with the club, but he's not, unfortunately, performed to the level this evening that he would want to. So we're now, looks like Toure's managed to get himself going again after probably an elbow to the face, it looked like. And we are back up and running with 63 minutes gone in the Europa League Final. Watch along that we are doing here on Over the Bar via us, me and Mark, the Bundesliga show. So, you know, we've got the best part of half an hour, potentially, depending on how much extra time there is, for Frankfurt to respond or for Rangers to go on and double their lead. So we hope you can join us for the last half an hour of this game and more if we need to. Mark, when do you think we're going to start to see a few more attacking substitutions by Glasner and co?
Yeah, I'm not sure though, because they've got most of the big hitters on the pitch, haven't they? Really, you know. So it's yeah. To be honest, I think it would be a risk. Like, who are you going to take off in that side? You know, I mean, I think Bore has not had his best game, has he? But you don't want to take him off because he's like the best striker. You know, they don't. Again, do you want to bring Lammers on? Really? Do you know what I mean? Not for me. Yeah. Not for me. Yeah. I guess Kamada they could possibly bring off a Hauge. You know, I mean, Kamada has not done that much probably since the first 15 minutes. You know, but I mean, they've got more. I think Knauf has just gone out of the game completely, hasn't he? That's the problem. He was so good in the first 15, 20 minutes. And, you know, I'm still confident that they can get back into this Frankfurt, but I'll be honest, it's looking a bit tough at the minute, you know, and it's obviously Frankfurt started with all the big hitters, so there's not really that many obvious kind of players they can bring on at the minute, you know. I mean, probably Hauger is the one, but he's not had a good season, has he, Rory, really?
No, I mean he's not produced maybe as to the level which Frankfurt were hoping that he was going to. As you mentioned, most of the big hitters for Frankfurt are already on the pitch. So yeah, it's going to be tricky. Visibly you can see the Frankfurt players are pretty shell shocked or panicked by that goal. Don't think they expected it to come. They probably felt quite in control to a certain degree of the game, but now they just have to try and spend a bit of time on the ball, which they are now doing. They got possession at the back and they're just kind of knocking it around a bit to maybe just get a feel for the game again, and to try and go forward a little bit. As a result of that, that was a strong tackle. 2 strong tackles, and then a strong header. Looks like it's getting pretty physical out there. Teams starting to get more desperate. Can Alf do anything here? No, it's really well defended by Bassi again. Bassi's having a great game for Rangers. Yeah. Really, really good. The game is starting to stretch out though, Mark, isn't it? Those defensive shapes, back threes, back fours, whatever you want to call them for both sides, are starting to look a little bit more ragged or open, particularly the Frankfurt one, I think it's fair to say.
They look rattled, yeah. They look rattled. I mean, I'm not sure really whether they're going to have the character in the side to come back into this. That's my fear at the minute, really. It's just Bassi is just running that defense, isn't he? It's just
chance! Oh, he's there over Kamada. Rangers self-destructing at the back this time. Roda managing to nick possession. It goes through to Kamada. He's he's quite close to goal. He's onside as well. Wow. Lifts it over McGregor. It's comfortably over, you have to say, it hitting the roof of the net on its way down.
I've got to say, Hasabi's done well since he came on. That's for sure. He's looked a bit better, but I think it's this range. It's Goldson. I think the 2 men you're going to be looking at if Rangers get through this, you're going to be looking at Mr. Goldson and Mr. Bassi, aren't you? They've been absolutely brilliant in this final so far. Yeah, he's got again Kamada. His finishing lacks at times, doesn't it? And that you've got to be doing better with that. I'm sorry, you've got to. These chances don't come around every 5 minutes, you know what I mean, to play in the Europa League Final. And if you get 2 chances, you just have to find a way to put it in the back of the net. And I think a lot of it comes down to character of the players, do you know what I mean? And I think, it's not easy to perform when half the world's watching a final, and I think, they've had, that's now 4 chances, I would say they've had. And you've got one or 2 of them have simply got to end up in the back of the net in a major final, otherwise you're just going to lose it, basically. So that's the reason why Frankfurt are losing at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. Just a quick pan, or I could see in the bottom corner of the screen, it looks like 2 Frankfurt players or subs are about to come on. So it'll be interesting to see who they are, and particularly who they're for. As Frankfurt tried to go down the left, again Bassi making the headed clearance. So again, Frankfurt come forward now. Again down the left-hand side, trying to build, obviously trying to use the quality of Kostic. And eventually the ball goes out for a throw-in. And as we mentioned, Mark, that man who hasn't really performed so far is going to get an opportunity. They just the camera panned just there to Hauger, so he will be coming on. It's 1-1.
Yes, come on!
Goal, Frankfurt, Rafa Borre.
That man
at the near post. I'm pretty sure it was Kostic who whipped in the low cross. I will have to check. I presume there's no issues with offsides because Borre had to run in front of a Rangers player, I think. So
you always have to be careful nowadays, don't you, with the goal checks and things?
You do indeed. Borre looks happy though. Doesn't seem to be much. I haven't seen a replay yet, so I can't say whether he's onside. If there's anything relating to offside that looks okay. Whipped in. He's definitely onside, I would say. brilliant bit of movement. Of course, it was Kostic whipping it in.
Yeah, that's exactly, again, a lot of what we predicted has come true, Rory, really. Yeah, with the Kostic left-footed cross, like low across the front. It is a good goal, It's a typical Frankfurt goal, that's what I would say, in the final.
Superb movement from Boré.
Yeah.
So
he is
so
a class.
good.
I think he's going to be a real good striker moving forward, Boré. I think the first half of the season he was pretty poor, wasn't he? But since January, he's been really good for me, and he looks like a proper striker, I think,
Yeah. And
he scored a lot of big goals too, actually.
That's the first time that Bassey's been caught out, because he has been pretty much flawless so far in this final. And just as the goal goes in, we've got another cooling break. So on 70 minutes, just after the equalizer, not sure who that's better for, actually, having a cooling break now. Do you reckon, Mark, that's stalling Frankfurt's momentum and giving Rangers a bit of a chance to reset, actually?
To an extent, yeah, because we've seen that quite often nowadays. It seems to be like a trend that teams get back-to-back goals. Do you know what I mean? In a short space of time. Just ask Real Madrid fans about that one. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, but I think, it's probably not good for Frankfurt. But there's been a very good reaction since the goal. We saw the Kamada chance, and they're probably going to bring Hauger on. I would imagine they'll still go ahead with that change. Because I imagine
they have
players are
done,
getting tired. I would imagine Hauger will come on still, and that's going to be. He's one of those players. He's obviously got quality. He's played for AC Milan. He was brought in, I think, for 10 million euros by Frankfurt in summer. He's not really done it, but he's obviously got quality within him, hasn't he? So, I think, I would imagine he might come on probably for Kamada or Lindstrom. I would imagine it'd be possibly Kamada because he's probably not had his best game, has he? I wouldn't say, but he's always dangerous, isn't he? He puts himself in the positions, but his finishing isn't probably. Is what stops him from going to the very top of the game, I would say, really, Kamada. Yeah, and it's Lindstrom. Lindstrom is coming off, actually, for Hauger. So,
I think I missed that one. But so Hauger is on. The game is finally balanced at 1-1 in the Europa League Final here. If you're joining us for the first time, first of all, where have you been? Fair enough if you've been at work. And if you're joining us for the last 20 minutes of the Europa League Final on Over the Bar's Watchalong, second one that we've ever done, having great fun with it on the Europa League Final this evening. Big occasion for both clubs, and it is tooth and nail right now, 1-1, and all the clubs getting a bit heated now. That's a yellow card for Rangers. But if you're new to the channel, if you just kind of stumbled across us, again, as I've said, if you're a Rangers fan, if you're a Frankfurt fan, or if you're a neutral, please do drop us a like on the video, and please do subscribe to the channel because there's more of this type of show to come for the rest of the season and indeed into next season. So please do join us for future shows. Back to the game. Kostic causing all sorts of trouble down the left, although having said that, it's just gone out for a goal kick. Right then, Mark, what do we feel with 17 minutes to go? What are we predicting to happen? Do you think Frankfurt will now come on strongly, or if Rangers going to call upon that grit and that character that we've seen from them so far in this tournament?
Yeah, well, we're going to have to see it because, again, Wright getting that book. They seem to be losing their heads, and the referee has, I would say, finally started booking the Rangers players for these fouls now. Do you know what I mean? Because they did get away with a few. And, yellow cards are important because, obviously, if a player gets on a booking, he has to be careful in the future, and it might just seem like, okay, it's just a yellow card, but they're quite important, and I think Rangers got away with 2 in the first half, which were stonewall yellows for me, the tackle on Roda. And we have, I think that's 2 players now on bookings, isn't it, for Rangers? So, that could change it a bit as well, But I definitely think Rangers don't need to worry. I mean, obviously they're going to be disappointed about conceding, but at the end of the day, they were given the choice of going in at 1-1 after 73 minutes. They'd have taken it ultimately. And they are they've got a very strong mentality, and they're not going to be crying over that goal, But obviously, Frankfurt are favourites now. They look the better side at the moment, and that they really. Kostic has been brilliant since they went 1-0 down. This is what you want, from your kind of your captain to. Well, he's not your captain actually, but he's probably your main player, isn't he? He's your most famous player, and he's stepped up when need be. Obviously, Jack has gone off. Who came on then, Rory? Did you see? Is it
I
Ramsey's
missed
come
it. Wright's come off for Sakala, so he was obviously on a booking, so he's come straight off. No messing around from Van Bronckhorst there in terms of getting the player.
Probably quite clever to be. That's what I was saying about the yellow card.
Yeah, absolutely.
It affects the player when they got on a booking,
Absolutely. But Rangers having a bit of a good spell again now for the last minute or two. Had a bit of a half decent attack, which was just about scrambled away by Frankfurt, and now they've won themselves a free kick just inside the Frankfurt half. So they'll probably load up the box for this one as well, but it's still obviously quite far out. It's certainly getting towards make or break territory now, Mark. Both coaches will be starting to really feel the nerves, won't they?
Yeah, both sets of fans as well. It's always this stage in a cup final. I mean, I've been to 2 cup finals, and obviously one of them Wigan won famously as well. I had to get that in there in the commentary as well, But yeah, I just remember being so nervous, like we were, everyone was standing, like nobody was sitting, everyone was, but we could barely like stand still, it was so nervous. It was like, obviously that day ended up working out for Wigan, getting that famous goal in the 91st minute, to win the FA Cup. But like, I can't tell you just how nervous you feel in that situation. You feel as though like, it's like, whoa, it's not good for the nerves, that's for sure. And I can imagine that both sets of fans now are feeling that right now. That's for sure,
Yeah, agreed. Half decent chance here. Frankfurt on the edge of the area. Oroda skips through. He plays it off to Hauger. What a shock! And Hauger smashes it over the bar. He needs to get up to the speed of this game quickly, Hauger, because that's a decent chance inside the penalty area, and he just scoops it over the bar, leaning backwards, never going anywhere near the goal, unfortunately. But good footwork there from Roda. He's still going strong on 77 minutes. Obviously, they haven't felt the need to replace him just yet. It'd be interesting to see what Frankfurt do in regards to subs, because I think Frankfurt have got 2 subs left now. Have they made 3 subs?
Yeah.
So they'll probably want to keep one up their sleeve in case they need to chase the game.
Injuries or something.
Or anything like that. And now lots of ebb and flows so far in the second half, because now Frankfurt, I'd say, are having a good spell. Rangers kind of just being pressed to knock the ball out of play in their own half. And Frankfurt's that's a rubbish pass to kill the momentum. Oh my God, Hasibi, what are you doing? Bit of miscommunication there, nerves again. Hasibi almost making a meal of a pass back, but he got fouled in the end. So everything from Frankfurt point of view was okay. And it's another goal kick, and Frankfurt can build from there. Starting to target the left-hand side, particularly now down Tavernier's side with Kostic and Kamada trying to make those runs in behind him. Mark, what do you reckon? One of those 2 players could have a real impact on this final 10 to 12 minutes, couldn't they?
Yeah, both of them have been the key players, especially since Rangers scored. It's just again, it's that defence, so isn't it, Rory? We saw Hasibi there messing around. I always worry. I do worry a bit about Frankfurt, because I just think they've always got that mistake, and I wouldn't be surprised if they have another mistake in them in this game. Do you know what I mean? That's the problem, and it's there's not really any of those centre halves that really kind of like, I think, this guy's got it under control. Do you know what I mean? Like, and whereas with the other side, obviously Rangers, despite the fact that Bassi Mainter wanted to do a little bit better with the goal, but it wasn't a bad mistake, was it? He just kind of lost his man. It was a clever run from Boré, but I think both of their centre halves really kind of they inspire a lot more confidence in me. Do you know what I mean? I also think, I'm looking at the Rangers bench now, and I actually think they've got a lot of quality they can still bring on to, like Ruth too. Ruth is a good player.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think he was injured just before, wasn't he? He was injured, so I guess that's why he didn't start today as well. But also Aaron Ramsey, I mean, it's what a surprise to see him not been brought on yet. I think even Diallo, didn't he come from United as well? Didn't he play Amad Diallo? Is that him?
Indeed, yeah, he is indeed one of our own, speaking as a Man United fan. Yeah, he's not really featured much. I think he scored a couple of goals towards the end of the season, actually, from getting a few more chances, although I think one of them was a tap-in. So, yeah, interestingly enough, he's not really had loads of gameplay. An interesting signing from United, of course, lots of questionable signings from Man United over the X amount of years. So, yeah, there's still plenty to come from Rangers, I feel, from an attacking point of view. It's just whether Van Bronckhorst sees it from that point of view or does he want to play the long game? Because, frankly, this game is completely on a knife edge, but you figure, if it came down to a team deserving it from playing, making a good goal, you suspect Frankfurt would be that team, but, anything is possible in the final right now. Thanks for your comments, Dan and Mark, with regards to the watch-alongs. We've had loads of fun doing these first two already, and we plan on doing loads more. Obviously, particularly next season. So keep your eyes peeled for that. We may well yet do another one with regards to the Bundesliga. If we can arrange it, that might be the second leg of the relegation playoff. We just need to put our heads together with regards to if we can sort that out, arranging it in terms of our diaries. And I think there are plans for the League 1 and 2 show to potentially do a few of them as well. Obviously, you'll find out about that on our Twitter page and things like that. But absolutely, we are going to do loads more of them. So keep your eyes peeled for them.
Yeah, and of course, for any of you new guys watching as well, just a reminder to like, comment, subscribe as well, just because, it's very important just to help us to produce more and more stuff. I mean, we're very, very happy with the number of views we've been getting recently, but we'd like to kind of like convert that more to subscribers as well, because obviously it just helps us to kind of, to get us more of a traction and stuff like that. And that's what we want. We want to create a massive community of Bundesliga fans here, and we've already got like a good number of them. And obviously not only Bundesliga, obviously as well the lower league football. I know one of the things that's been really cool about doing this is that we've managed to get like a kind of cross section of Bundesliga and League 1 and 2 fans as well, which is kind of not very common, I guess, really, throughout the UK and Germany. But it's a really good thing that we want people to watch both channels. That's really good for us. So, yeah, if you're watching, if you enjoy what we do, of course, that's the main thing. Then just click subscribe. And also remember to leave us a comment and a like as well. That would really help us going forward. So, yeah, absolutely. What's going on now then?
So we're into the 83rd minute of the game. So 7 minutes left for someone plus added time, which there'll probably be at least 3-4 minutes of a chance for someone to be a hero and write their name into their club's respective histories. At the moment, Frankfurt have possession in terms of throw-in, about halfway inside Rangers, half the field. And they cross it over to Knauf on the right-hand side. Plays a 1-2 nicely with Roder. Chance on the edge of the air. Oh, no, he trips himself over. So that brings a close to that attack. And they've gone straight up the other end, actually, to Rangers on the counter. And Hasabi has done well to hold up play. I think that may have been Sakala, actually. First kind of involvement for him, perhaps. So, here come Rangers now. Ball into Sakala. Well dealt with or well handled. Sorry, that was a Revo, I think. No, it was Sakala. And Trapp does really well, actually, to keep a hold of that safe hands from Trapp, because realistically, and it was deflected, he's not had an awful lot to do, has he? So he's got to keep on the ball for sure. It feels like these last few minutes could be quite mad. So apologies if mine and Mark's commentary seems a bit hazy because we are just reacting to the carnage which might happen here. Frankfurt come down the right with Knauf. Kamada spun out to Hager. Hager really has not impacted the game at all. Poor cross, easily intercepted, and Frankfurt back to square one. Do you think that was a mistake bringing him on, Mark? I guess they could have stopped the substitution and kept Lindstrom on because they got back to 1-1 before he came on.
I can understand why they did it, because I think obviously Lindstrom is a young guy. He's a Scandinavian guy. He's probably going to be tired. Let's be honest. You know, it's a cup final. He's a young guy playing in his first major cup final. But I just don't know what's happened to him as a player. I mean, his career just seems to be in all kinds of bother at the minute. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, he was a good player as well, Hauger, just a few years ago. Very, very highly rated throughout Europe. And it was actually seen as a bit of a coup that Frankfurt managed to get him, in truth, actually. But he's just not played well, has he? And we've seen it again here. He just looks off the pace. He looks maybe a little bit nervous. I don't know, really. But it's, he was at Milan as well. He's actually only on loan at Frankfurt. He's just not... You know, he obviously moved to Milan from Bodo Glimt, that famous Norwegian club who I think made it to like the semi-final of the Conference League or something, didn't they?
Yeah, lost to Roma, I think, didn't they?
I think they won the home leg as well. It was the quarterfinal. They got to the quarterfinal, but it was a great run from them for a small Norwegian town, you know, in the north of Norway. Yeah, he actually came from them as well. But, you know, he started quite a few games for Milan as well. But, like, it's just not... His career seems to have stalled, you know. And he's only made 8 appearances for Norway. So, you know, he probably feels though he should be getting more apps for Norway, really. Not the best national team in the world, are they? But, you know, obviously a country compatriot of that man, Erling Haaland, as well, you know. So...
Indeed. Captained by Martin Odegaard, I think, obviously the Arsenal man.
They do have quite a few big players really in Norway, but they never really seem to do much as a national team, do they? So
yeah, I think they failed to qualify for the World Cup, did they not?
They didn't even make the playoffs, I don't think, which was disappointing considering some of the quality they have in the side. But
yeah, agreed. Good bit of defending by Rangers here. Can maybe launch a counter-attack late on. Oh my God, this game is really stretched actually now. It's it's 3-on-3 here, really. Oh no, Rangers have made a mess of it again. Now Frankfurt come forward. This game's up completely there for the taking. It is just, we need one piece of continued quality from one side just to build a genuine attack, and then we'll have probably a winner. But right now, both sides are really wilting. And this game, famous last words, is currently heading for extra time.
Kamada's been great though recently, hasn't he? He's really starting to take control of the game, and he's the kind of player that could be dangerous in this situation, you know. But obviously Ryan Kent as well is starting to get more of the ball in this kind of final quarter of the game. And I think Sakala as well, I've got a bad feeling, you know, obviously as a Frankfurt fan really in this game. I've got a bad feeling that he could be the man that's going to bundle one in right at the end, you know, because he's that kind of character, you know. He's he's a very kind of hit and miss player, you know, and it tends to be those kind of guys that get the winners in the finals, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? It often happens like that.
Here come Frankfurt again down the right is Rafa Bore, deep cross. Oh, poorly dealt with by Tavernier. Comes to Kostic. Oh, dangerous ball. I think it's missed everyone though. Not even going to get a corner. I think even McGregor missed that one. So Rangers just about staying out of trouble with that one. Yeah, probably good judgment actually in the end from McGregor, although more by luck than design. So
again, though, Hauger before playing a poor pass, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It's been dreadful. Bore is just ready to make that run. Like, he's a very intelligent forward, is Bore, you know, but Hauger is just not doing the business at the minute, is he? And, you know, it's I hope he's not going to become a passenger in this match, really, because, you know, you can't afford to have a passenger at this stage in a major final, can you?
Well, it gets to the stage where if he's going to continue to make mistakes, do you sub off the sub? I know it's a big call to do in a final when you've only got a limited amount of subs, but he really needs to speed up in terms of catching up to the pace of this game, because he's got fresh legs. He could be the difference. And right now he's been the difference for Rangers. Sebastian Rode has not lasted the distance. He's just been subbed off. So, good shift from him, but hasn't ultimately lasted the distance. Obviously, Glasner now probably looking to extra time and looking for some legs in the midfield. And another Frankfurt attack comes to nothing. Another pretty poor ball played in behind, way too heavy and not giving Kamada any chance. So 5 minutes of extra time to find ourselves a winner, or we go the distance and we go long on our second ever watch-along of the Bundesliga show, or on Over the Bars YouTube channel. We could well be going... Could be a late one for you tonight, Mark.
Yeah, it's already almost 11 o'clock here in Germany. So yeah, but it's getting exciting. It seems like every one of these kind of midweek games goes to extra time, doesn't it, nowadays?
Here come Rangers with some good play, and it's a Rangers corner kick, I think. So here we go. Yeah, pretty dangerous situation. Oh no, it's actually a throw-in. So 1 minute just about gone by as Rangers look to try and find a way to get a cross in, as they still have the ball down in the left-hand corner of the Frankfurt half, and they're building up now. And again, it's all very scrappy. Frankfurt just happy to smash out play, basically. There are lots of tired bodies out there, aren't there, Mark?
You can see just a few flashes of the fans as well. The fans look absolutely nervous as hell. Yeah, I can sympathise with them really, because I've been through it. I still have flashbacks. It was 9 years ago now, that famous day in 2013, and it's just I can still have flashbacks to it when I was just like shaking, literally. And it's like I can't tell you to sound nerve-wracking it is. It's a lot more nerve-wracking when you're at the stadium than when you're when you watch it on TV. I find really it's Yeah, and it's a different kind, because you can feel the emotion of everyone, the players, the fans, the management team, and just the commentators, everyone. When you're in the stadium, you just feel like, whoa. And obviously everyone stands up as well at cup finals, and it's just like, whoa. It's I can't explain, but then when that goal goes in, you're just like, oh my god. I remember my old PE teacher from school was standing behind me when Wigan scored that goal in the final, and we all just went over to him and just hugged him. I never even liked the guy as a teacher, do you know what I mean? But yeah, it was like all we wanted to do, it's just like, it was just amazing. And then that last 2-3 minutes was just torture, it was like, and then the final whistle went, and it just felt like, like everything had just come true, basically, and it was all worth it, and it was just an amazing feeling when your team wins and you're there to watch a cup final. It's but one of the fans of these teams is going to experience that soon, but we've no idea which one at the minute, that's for sure.
Pretty much. So we're now 3 minutes gone of the 5 in the second half of the Europa League final, finally poised with Rangers in possession in pretty much exactly the same place as I was basically commentating on a few minutes ago. Barisic with the throw in here for Rangers. They obviously are just trying to create one opportunity. Great feat there, whoever that was by. Getting the cross, and it is well defended. And who's that come off? Another Rangers throw in exactly the same position. So, yeah, we're kind of hobbling along here a little bit.
Extra time is looming, so to speak, I think.
Yeah, pretty much. Rangers are clearly just trying to get one chance, one ball into the area, although the ball is ricocheted off Frankfurt player. Oh, wow. And they thought they might have a counter-attacking chance on there, but it has come to an end. So 1 minute to go in the final. Who was that? Kostic just chanting his arm there. A bit of a lunge in on Connor Goldson. to maybe try and nick the ball, but he could not get there. So free kick, actually. So I wonder how many players Rangers are going to commit to this. 30 seconds to go in the Europa League final. Long ball in. And it's gone up to Toure. Well defended or well headed out. The Rangers still have the ball. I'll just kind of talk us through the last kind of 10, 15 seconds here until the referee maybe blows his whistle. Rangers have now gone backwards all the way to Bassi on the ball here. He's played it long and everyone stopped. And everyone has stopped because the referee has blown the whistle. So, the Europa League final finishes in normal time 1-1. So, everyone buckle in. Get yourself a bit of caffeine, get yourself a chalky biscuit, whatever you fancy.
Got another 40 minutes to go, that's for sure. Yeah. minimum penalties, and it's another hour or so, I would say.
Right, well, we're here for the long haul, me and Mark, so we are fully committed to this.
I think Rory will have bad memories from last year's Europa League final as well, right? When he finished 1-1 after 90 minutes. I think we all remember what happened on that one.
Let's not talk about that. I still remember thinking every penalty, like De Gea is going to just dive the other way. De Gea is going to dive the other way, and he got. I don't think he got near any one of the 13 penalties that there were. Which you just think odds are that someone's going to get close to it, but no, he didn't.
I think he didn't save a single one, did he? In like 14 penalties.
I think. And then, unfortunately, he blasted over the last one, which
is,
to
be fair, he's been like your only decent player for the last 3 or 4 years, so you got to give him some credit. But still, do you know what I mean? It's like, But I'll be honest, I was supporting Villarreal that night. I'll be honest with you now, and I think most of the non-United fans in the UK were probably supporting Villarreal there, really. But it's that's the way it goes, I guess, But yeah. Absolutely. But anyway, let's hope this one's going to go the way that both of us wanted to this time.
Obviously we're going to have a mixture of Rangers supporters in the chat, and obviously Frankfurt fans and neutrals alike. Obviously we've got a bit of a British audience, haven't we, considering our audience? So probably just you and me, Mark, who are Frankfurt fans. And actually, over the bars, Paul McGarrigy said he was a Frankfurt fan as well. So,
there you go,
so there's at least 3 of us who are supporting Frankfurt tonight.
I'm going to go and get myself a drink, guys. Give me a minute. Yeah, man. The old throat is, it was only prepared for 2 hours tonight.
Go for it, Mark. I'll talk us through until he comes back. Because, we've been going 2 hours already so far on this watch along here on Over the Bars YouTube channel for the Europa League final, which if you've just come in and not been on your phone because you've been at work or whatever it may be, the game has gone to extra time as it finished 1-1 in normal time. A goal from Aribo for Rangers in the second half after a mistake from Tuta slipping over allowed him to go through on goal to make it 1-0. And then probably the one rare bit of genuine quality we saw from both sides in an attacking point of view was when Kostic crossed the ball low for Rafa Borre to get in ahead of Bassi to make it 1-1. And to be honest, after that, didn't really see much. I think Frankfurt might have had 1 or 2 chances, but we're going the distance here. So in the comments, let us know what you think of the game. Tom M. Mapletoft, not impressed with the lack of quality tonight. Thought that Forest Sheffield United was better. Probably have to agree, to be frankly honest. Not been the most spectacular game so far. So let's hope for a bit of drama towards the end of the game. But I mean, from recent past, extra times don't always lead to the best of viewing. Let us know in the comments if you prefer extra time or if you just prefer games to go to penalties. Certainly save my voice a lot of kind of pressure from this next 30 minutes or so. Canal, step up, please. he's had a half decent game, but he's had a really big impact in the Frankfurt side since he's come on loan from Dortmund. The young man should have plenty of fitness in the legs, so can he make a big contribution? There's been some famous goals scored by Frankfurt players so far. The one that Knauf scored in the first leg against Barcelona, the Boré one in the second leg against Barcelona, some really high quality goals. So who is going to make the most of their opportunity? So the players now just waiting to kick off extra time of the Europa League Final. Thank you to everyone who is sticking with us. If you're new and you're just coming back to the game, get watching for this final 30 minutes and potentially drama of penalties. If you've been watching from the start, well done to you. Appreciate the support for everyone that's watched so far this evening. Hope that you can enjoy the last half an hour or so of this game. So we're back underway, Mark. Who do you reckon is going to go for it? Who's going to make the big difference?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Frankfurt to get the win. I just think I do think that Frankfurt had the better of that probably after they went 1-0 down. Probably, to be honest, most of the second half they were the better side, really, weren't they? But I think, as for who could make the difference, it's not going to be Jens Petter Hauge, that's for sure, based on his performance, his cameo so far. You're probably looking at the likely lads, really, aren't you? You're probably looking at Kostic, Kamada, and Boré for Frankfurt, really, aren't you? It's all three have had good finals, I would say, overall. They'll all be happy with their performances. It's just a pity that the defence has let them down at times, really, for Frankfurt, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So extra time is now fully underway. Frankfurt have possession of the ball. So it's Kevin Trapp just, again, slowing things down, taking a leaf out of McGregor's book. And now we're kind of starting to build up play again down the right-hand side, although Hasebe has just smashed it straight at a Rangers player. So Frankfurt have lost possession.
What have you made of him so far, Hasebe? Do you think he's done all right, or do you think he's been a bit of a liability since he came on?
I think, he's brought a lot of experience, probably added an element of calm to the defence. But even he will be feeling the pressure at this late stage. He'll definitely be threatened by the likes of Sakala and Aribo coming on with that extreme pace. So yeah, be interesting to see how well they defend and how much they actually do have to defend in terms of if Rangers are going to go for it or not.
Obviously, Arfield has come on as well. Did you notice that one?
Scotty Arfield on for Kamara.
I've always been a fan of him. I used to like him at Burnley. I thought he was like a proper, proper midfielder, really, Arfield.
Yeah.
I did. Obviously, he's not like a world-class midfielder, but I think he's a Rangers kind of player. Do you know what I mean? I think he is a good guy to bring on. They do have a lot of quality on the bench, really. He's built a good squad there, really. Gerrard and later Van Bronckhorst. I think he has built a really, really good squad on probably quite a shoestring budget, I would imagine, as well, really.
Well, yeah. Given the fact that I don't think they did an awful lot in the summer, and I know Gerrard wasn't particularly happy with that, with the lack of transfers that they did. So they've done well, as you mentioned, maybe on a shoestring budget to keep competing. Rangers now trying to come out on the break here. Good play by Aribo. Can they switch play? They can to the left-hand side. Now there's a bit of space for Sakala to get at Frankfurt. Cuts in, does well. Opportunity to strike it. Good hit, but always comfortably sailing over the bar by that man, Scotty Arfield.
There you go. Yeah.
Good hit, to be fair, but always rising straight into the Frankfurt Ultras. So, goal kick and... extra time, not bringing too much excitement just yet, but I'm sure it will all come in due course.
I think one thing you didn't mention there is that again it was Hauge losing the ball that led to that one. It's just, I know I've criticised him a few times, but he has had a bit of a stinker since he came on. Hauge, he really has. Like the dude just doesn't seem to know what he's doing at all. Do you know what I mean?
He's just lost it again.
Yeah. He's become a liability in that side, and I'd be tempted to bring him off. It's potentially for Pacencia. Pacencia is like, he's one of those players that he almost never plays for Frankfurt, but whenever he does, he seems to do half decent for them.
Yeah, he scored a good. It's good. Scored a good goal. Was it against Mainz actually at the weekend?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
yeah.
He scored a few over there since we started doing the Bundesliga show. He scored probably 5-6 Bundesliga goals, but he never seems to play, does he? Like it's, but he's a player that could potentially come on to be like the Joker. But Hauger has been,
slip by Bassi. Who's through on goal? Bore. Oh, he's made a mess of it as well. Well defended, I think, in the end. So they've given a corner ball. Wow. So we've almost seen two big mistakes in this final leading to goals. Bassi this time slipping. If Bore can get out his feet or get more central, it's actually a really good recovery, to be fair. To Bassi, what a great tackle. Like, credit to him. That's a superb bit of recovery defending.
It's classic Bassi, really, in this game. Like, he has, obviously, like, it's a hard game, football, you can be so good for long periods and make one mistake, but, obviously, he's recovered really well there, and I'd probably go as far as saying he's been man of the match overall, to be honest with you.
Close to. Really good, yeah. I think that's one thing that a lot of Rangers fans had noticed, and even coaches with Bassi, that he's got great potential, but just has those moments of, just kind of, clouded judgment or mistake here and there, which is stopping him from going to the next level. And that certainly was, to be fair, no, it's not even a slip. He tries to turn on it and completely misses it. So it is an error. But makes amends for it and keeps his side level in the Europa League final. 6 minutes gone in the first half of extra time, and this game is going for the long haul for sure. Rangers now have possession and knocking it around. What where do you see the goal or goals coming from either side, Mark? Like, how is it going to happen?
Frankfurt are definitely looking better now. They've started it better, but it's just not, they've not got that one moment of magic, have they, so far, to kind of get into the lead. And, again, there, if probably Bore had a little bit more pace, he would have been through on goal. And I think he's a great finisher. And I think if he got the shot off, it would have ended up in the back of the net. I do believe that, But, pace probably isn't his absolute top. You obviously saw Bassi came from nowhere there to make that tackle, didn't he? So,
yeah.
Pace isn't his absolute biggest strength. He's more of that kind of, in the box kind of striker, really, rather than one that kind of plays a bit deeper. But yeah, Kostic, very, very dangerous player. He's a man for the big stage. I think he could cause damage for Rangers. But Rangers, they've not done much. It's been a while since they had like a good chance, really, hasn't it? But you always feel as though they're one of those sides, they can just get a goal out of nowhere, as the first goal was, really, wasn't it? They weren't really threatening at that stage, but they're the kind of side that you think if they get that chance, they'll put it away like they did with the first one,
Yeah, absolutely. Rangers again have started to take a bit more control of possession in the last couple of minutes. And again, they're trying that raking long ball out to their left-hand side, which is defended by Frankfurt and leads to a throw-in just in front of the Frankfurt section of supporters, who will no doubt, like the Rangers fans, be absolutely bricking it, for lack of a better word.
Gotta say though, Aaron Ramsey must be wondering what on earth did he do wrong, because this is I'll go as far as saying he's a world-class player, Aaron Ramsey, at least in his prime. Rangers fans might be able to tell me what happened, but this is a guy who, was a great player for Arsenal. I think his career started to go downhill when he left Arsenal, to be honest. But for Wales, he was always quality as well. In that famous side that made the semis of the Euros, he was like the main. Him and Bale, obviously the main players, and he's going to be asking himself, how can I not get onto a Rangers team in a major final? Do you know what I mean? And it's obviously, if he does get a run out, it's not going to be many minutes, that's for sure. And it's
chance here, Rangers coming down the left. Ball falls to the edge of the area, but Frankfurt again scrambling well. And ball's fallen to Knauf down the right. Can he get forward? Bassi's chasing him hard. Can he go? Oh, that's another poor bit of play, I must admit. Knauf just running out of legs at the end of his run and just splices the ball high and wide. Good defending by Bassi again. He looks a bit cream crackered as well.
I think Knauf's tired, isn't he, now? I think he's a young guy, do you know what I mean? It might even... it's tough because I guess they probably think, he is the kind of guy that could be a match winner, but maybe it's time to bring him off, to be honest with you, I would say. It's... they do still have players on that bench that could do damage. As I say, Paciencia is the one that kind of really stands out to me. Probably not. Lammers, again, that's the problem. When you only have one striker that can do damage, it's tough because, Oliver Glasner obviously just doesn't trust Sam Lammers at all, does he? And I understand that in truth,
Yeah. Just seen, so there's been a substitution for Frankfurt and Dick has come off for Lens, who we have seen very little of, frankly, in the Bundesliga. So he's gone straight into the defence, and Aribo is now coming off for Rangers. So he is coming off for Sands, who, again, my Rangers knowledge is okay, but I can't profess to know who Sands is, but he is on the pitch. And Rangers restart the game in the 100th minute of the Europa League final, and still 1-1. We still need a hero from whatever team it is to potentially save us from the agony of penalties. But of course, neutral fans love a penalty shootout as well.
Some of you Union Berlin fans out there probably know Lenz as well. He actually played for Union for 5 years before signing for Frankfurt this year. As Rory said, he's only made 15 apps, and probably most of them are off the subs bench for Frankfurt this year in the league. But a little bit of a surprise. They probably, again, it might be a case that Ndika's just tired and they need fresh legs, in that position. Yeah. But it seems as though he's going to stick with his striking lineup, which I can understand, to be honest. I can understand it because there is a lot of quality, all of, Knauf, Kostic, Kamada, Bore, they can all be match winners. They've got the quality to do that. So I can understand why he doesn't want to take any of them off, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Some good scramble defense again there by Frankfurt. Blocks on the edge of the area. Good chance for... I think that was Davis with a chance, but really well blocked. And Rangers, you have to say, are now starting to come on stronger again as the game is going on. We've got 3 minutes before half time and extra time here. Here, not in Sheffield, but in Seville, not far off. So yeah, there'll be a chance for the two managers to grab their teams for a minute or two and maybe set out a last couple of sets of tactics to potentially get the winner before we do have penalties. Frankfurt just building up play down the left-hand side here. Got a throw in just inside the Rangers half. And we keep on getting these traditional panning shots to fans who look very, very nervous, but as soon as they see they're on TV, give it the big one, which is standard. So, right now it's pretty even. It's a pretty typical extra time bit of football, unfortunately. But who knows what's going to happen. It obviously probably will come from a mistake, if anything, at the moment. Some good defending there to stop Rangers getting further forward. Sakala looking pretty dangerous, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a raw player, but he's got some pace behind him, hasn't he? That's for sure. He is the kind of guy that could be a match winner in these kind of finals, isn't he? And I think, I think Van Bronckhorst knew that he was the joker in the pack, and he didn't waste time to bring him on. I think he came on after about 70 minutes, which is gives him enough time to kind of make an impact on the game. But Just some other news as well. Obviously, obviously we are a League One, League Two channel. Mansfield Town beat Northampton Town 1-0 as well in the playoff there. So Mansfield are through 3-1. A bit of a shock there. The team that finished top of the playoffs effectively is now out and is not going to play at Wembley. So yeah, congratulations to Mansfield. Maybe any Mansfield fans watching from the League Two show. Yeah, you're going to Wembley. So congrats on that.
Here comes Kamada for Frankfurt. Yeah, just inaccuracies everywhere. Poor play, which leads to Rangers winning the ball and there being a foul in the Rangers half. So that has ultimately led to absolutely nothing. So right now, just showing a replay of another failed attack for Frankfurt. Bassi just about getting away with his back turned to goal. A minute of added on time in the first half of extra time in the Europa League final. Again, thank you very much to everyone that's tuning in so far and sticking with us. That is, again, a terrible bit of play. Rangers just smashing the ball out from a free kick. Gio Van Bronckhorst looking particularly unimpressed with that, as he should be. Frankfurt losing the ball, but not getting a free kick. So Rangers in attacking position, but then they lose the ball.
Getting scrappy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really scrappy now. Rangers coming forward again. Now it falls to Kamada, Bore, and now they're kind of trying to build forward Frankfurt, but they have to try and take stock. Launch a speculative long ball. That was quite a good ball, actually, but well defended. And that probably will be that when it comes to this half.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, just a reminder, guys, as well to like, comment, and subscribe on our channel as well. Yeah, because obviously we've seen there's been a very, very nice number of people watching again tonight, which is fantastic. But yeah, just remember to kind of convert that into subscribing as well, just so we can take that further and produce more and more. So we do plan on doing more and more watch-alongs as well. Also, the rest of this season, as Rory said before, we plan on doing the second leg next Monday of the relegation playoff, which will be Hamburg versus Hertha Berlin. So we'll have to see what happens in the first leg of that tomorrow night, but should be another good night that on OTB with our next watch-along. Maybe it could be another extra time and penalties. Who knows? So
we're going to have to make
obviously
sure
half-time.
Yeah, we're going to have to make sure we're well stocked for drinks if that one's extra time as well. I think
for sure. Yeah,
we're both going to be very scratchy tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's for sure.
But some nice shots as it's half time, as you might have guessed. Now in extra time, obviously both managers just having their team talks with both their respective teams. Some nice shots outside the stadium of the drones looking into the Stadium Seville. And then some shots of the fans all looking a bit lost, nervous, few sleepy looking Rangers fans, maybe too long on the cervezas this afternoon. Maybe it's starting to take their effect. Lots of sunburnt looking Rangers fans as well. Very pink scalps and heads that you can see in the ground. So it won't be long before we go into the final 15 minutes of football, or as in normal kind of gameplay, before we potentially have some nerve-wracking penalties and the drama that comes with finals, that you're always guaranteed at least a winner at the end of time. Is there anything Frankfurt or Rangers can do differently, Mark, other than just praying for a bit of good luck or a bit of quality?
Yeah, I think when it gets to this stage of a final, a lot of it just comes down to that, doesn't it, really? It's I don't think tactically there's much that can be done now, in truth. You know what I mean? Most of the subs have been made. I think obviously, I think Frankfurt still have 1 or 2 subs left, but I guess they'll want to leave one of them right until the end, because obviously the last thing you want to end up with in a cup final is like ending up with 10 men because you make too many subs, So I would imagine both teams will leave like 1 sub. Maybe if it's still 1-1 going into the last 2-3 minutes, we could see a subs related to penalties, It's so definitely the likes of Lammers or Paciencia could potentially come on just for the penalty shootout. I'm never really a fan of that though, Rory. I don't know about you, but obviously we saw it with England, didn't we? The famous Sancho and Rashford decision, which just backfired massively, didn't it? I can understand why managers would do that, because you'd think that strikers would be better at penalties, but it doesn't always work out like that, does it? Really, often defenders can sometimes be the better penalty takers, to be honest. And I think, if I was a manager, I wouldn't do that, to be honest, make subs just for penalties. I think it's too much pressure on the striker, to take the penalty and put it away. And I would imagine when that happens, he'll have been told probably with, 15 minutes to go, potentially, that, if it does get close, you're going to be coming on just to take a penalty. And I think it's too much pressure on the players, I think. And it's
absolutely. First pot shot of second half of extra time from Rangers. And it moved in the air, and Trapp had to punch it away, not overly convincingly, but he dealt with it, and the ball was eventually gone out for a goal kick. Who was that? It was Barisic, actually. Ball moved slightly late, and Trapp didn't. Well, he did enough. Obviously, the main job to keep it out of the back of the net, and it eventually got cleared. And it's now a Frankfurt goal kick. So, it'd be interesting to see if there are any of those type of substitutions, Mark. And who might become the hero of the hour. Obviously, we saw in the FA Cup recently, the hero being a shot from the edge of the area there for Frankfurt. That was, who was that? Hrustic.
Hrustic is on. I was just going to say Hrustic is on. So Frankfurt have actually made all 5 subs. That's risky, They've actually made the 5th sub with Hrustic, so there'll be no Paciencia or Lammers in this final tonight. I think Hrustic, I thought we would have seen him a bit earlier, because I do like him as a player, Hrustic. I think he was a bit unlucky not to start the final, in truth. But I don't know whether he was carrying a knock or something, but he was a player that did quite a lot of good stuff earlier on in the season, but has kind of drifted out of the team in recent weeks. So, but he's on now for the last 15 minutes. So, all 5 subs have been made. Although I think, don't they get a 6th, actually, in extra time? Do they get a 6th nowadays? A lot of subs nowadays. There was once a time when you only had 3 for the whole 120 minutes,
Yeah, here come Frankfurt now down the right. Knauf just not doing the right thing at the right time. Really, really poor and really, really frustrating.
He's not had as good a game. He's not had a great final, really, Knauf, has he? I wouldn't say.
He just got confused, although, not great defending either, really, but it was poor decision-making from Knauf. Needed to release the spare man down the right to at least get a cross into the box for Frankfurt, because you never know. That's come to nothing. And Rangers have a free kick on the edge of their area so we've had 3 minutes of the second half so far. So we're 108 minutes in to the Europa League final. So we are approximately 12 minutes away from penalties. Rangers knocking it long there, and Frankfurt working as a team to get it clear. And Rangers are going to come again here. And the long ball is starting to become rather popular here, Mark.
Yeah, it is. And that man, Bassi, is just dominating it, isn't he? What a final he's had, really. Obviously, he has made that one mistake, hasn't he? But he ended up making that great recovery. I think he's had just a fantastic game, along with Goldson as well at centre-half. It's been a great performance from both of them. They have conceded chances, but a lot of the chances have come from the wings, really, haven't they, in most cases? So... But very, very nervy now. Both sides are probably prepping for penalties in a way, but you still get a feeling there could be a goal. But to be honest, there don't seem to be that many goals normally in extra time these days. Have you noticed that, Rory? It's very rare you get extra time winners these days, it seems,
Yeah, I was talking about the FA Cup and how predictable that that was in regards to it definitely going to penalties as soon as it went to extra time. And I don't want to jinx it now because Rangers have got the ball in a dangerous area. But again, it's good scramble defence by Frankfurt, and now they want to try and get off on a counter. But yeah, often it does seem quite inevitable as soon as it goes to extra time. And there's obviously always been the argument, should it go straight to pens, like in the League Cup, like we see in England? What would you reckon, Mark? Do you think that, straight to pens is a bit too much of a lottery? But then again, if so many sides just, play out the extra time and don't really try to win the game, then there's no point in doing it.
I think it's starting to become a little bit like that, but I don't think they should get rid of extra time. I think extra time leads to more tension, in my opinion. It's about the tension. I think if you just go straight to penalties, and the other problem is, you see, is that if you go straight to penalties, teams could defend a lot earlier. They could defend through the 90 minutes as well. You see, that's the problem, So, whereas if teams know they've got to, if they want to play for a 0-0, they've got to get through, 130 minutes if you add extra time as well. So it's a long time to play for a 0-0, but I know what you mean. I would like to see more entertaining extra times because, seems as though it's become a trend. I watched the game last night as well that went to penalties between Sheffield United and Forest, and that was the same. It was very exciting through the 90 minutes, but then the extra time went a little bit dull, I thought, really. It's but it seems to be a trend in football at the minute.
What do you reckon to a golden goal coming back into the game?
I'm not sure that'd help. That's the problem. I don't think it'd help that because I think that just leads to even more defense because teams don't want to lose it from one mistake. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, true. True.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard because it's not always been like this with extra time, And in the past, we did see a lot of extra time winners, and it seems as though Real Madrid are the only team that can win games in extra time, really. Obviously they did it against Chelsea and City, didn't they, famously?
Yeah, true.
Benzema goals, but yeah, most games that I've watched in the last probably 4 or 5 years that went to extra time, they very rarely yield winners. I don't know. So it's just the way it seems to go.
Indeed, yeah. Well, I mean, we've got 8 minutes now of normal extra time left of this game before we do indeed go to penalties here on Over the Bar's YouTube channel, live Europa League Final Watchalong as Rangers come down the left-hand side. A really good sliding tackle there by Krustic, I believe it was, to stop that attack that goes out for a Rangers throw-in. So Rangers again will have the opportunity to build something from this side. Can they do so? Comes into the middle, and again they go out wide, and they're starting to go backwards, and they're now back on halfway. Are we starting to see the signs of teams settling? Oh, there's a ball kind of whipped in low and dangerously for Rangers, but again it's dealt with, and Rangers starting to dominate the ball a bit here, Mark. There is a goal coming. Long range shot. Oh, good hit and a good save from Trapp.
I think one of the worries is that Kent is starting to get more and more play, isn't he? And I think he is a good player. You can see it when I think Frankfurt have done quite well to keep him quiet for most of the game, but more and more, he's actually one of the players that's got better and better as the game's gone on, I feel. And he's starting to get a bit of play down that left-hand side for Rangers, and he's causing problems, I would say. So, I think Davis has done quite well. He's a player I've always liked, Davis. He seems to... How old is Davis now? He's been going for absolutely years. The guy, Stephen Davis, what a legend of football he is, really. And the guy, he's very, very good as a midfielder. I always liked him when he played for Southampton and I think Villa as well. I always thought he was a good player, and he's still doing it. But the guy must be at least 38, I would say now.
Good long-range effort there from Hrustic, starting to have a bit of an impact on the game, but it was also wildly ambitious. Was that Jasic, actually? Wow, that was close. And we're now kind of being resorted to pop shots, long-range efforts, long balls. It's all rather... not so pretty now, but that is the nature of these finals. The pressure that is on teams. so much that they want to win. They'll do anything that they can. And both these teams are seconds, minutes away from potentially creating history right now. And Rangers are coming forward again, although Frankfurt have made a good kind of stalling job of it, and they have the ball now, which they're coming down the left-hand side with. Which, does it lead to a corner? It leads to a goal kick for Rangers. So 5 minutes left of time here, Mark. Are you gonna kind of call a goal, or do you think we're going to pens?
No, I think we're going. I can never really call a goal at this. I mean, we have, to be fair, we've seen a couple of good shots coming in there, which is more than we've probably seen for most of the rest of extra time, really. But it's still, still far from a goal, really. Both sides were well saved or comfortably over. Yeah, a couple of questions coming in as well. Ben Pallett says, would golden goal encourage teams to retire more? As I said before, not for me, really. Not for me. I just think it could potentially lead to teams defending more in extra time, because for some reason teams just want to leave it to that lottery of penalties, don't they? A lot of teams seem to like the penalty shootout. I don't know. As long as it's not England in penalty shootouts, then it tends to go all right, But yeah. And the other one is Tom said 4 or 5 subs allowed. Yeah, it's actually 5 subs plus 1 extra in extra time, so it's actually 6 overall that are allowed. Yeah, it seems that more and more subs are getting into football nowadays, doesn't it? Are you a fan of that, Rory? Do you think that's a good step forward for the game, or do you think it should have been kept at 3, really?
I mean, there's always the chat in modern day times about how tired players are after these long seasons and things like that, but I think I'd rather just stick to 3. I don't mind the idea of 1 extra in extra time, so to make 4 in total. But when you're getting to 5 in Europe plus 6 in extra time, plus 1 making 6, that kind of spoils the game's flow. As much as you want to bring on fresh legs, we've seen bringing on fresh legs for in the shape of Hauger, and it's not really worked for Frankfurt. So, there's lots of nerves out there. And finally, we are seeing Aaron Ramsey. He's come on with 3 minutes remaining in this game. Has he got the Midas touch? Can he do anything with 3 minutes? Or is it completely just so that he can smash a penalty in? We'll have to see.
Obviously Barisic injured as well. I think he's only come on as a result of Roof has come on as well. I think it's exactly
oh my God, how has it not gone in? Rangers should have scored.
Jeez,
wow.
Yeah.
Is it Kent at the back post? They're complaining about something. Wow, that was close.
Fashion Junior's gone off as well, by the way. Fashion Junior went off for Ramsey, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, what a save. Kevin Trapp. He's just saved his club a potential chance. The ball might have already gone out of play, to be fair, for the cross. Comes in, Kent. Yeah, class. What a save from Trapp. And then the follow-up is headed over. So it should have been a corner. It was given as a goal kick. And it was probably going in, actually. So that was absolute
That is a massive save. Absolutely massive. Yeah, it's a great play. That great play from Trapp. You mentioned he's not had that much to do through the game, has he? But what a save that was! Absolutely massive. Rangers. I think it's that man Roof. Is it Roof who makes the run as well? He's only been. You've got to question where was he for the rest of the game. Really, he's a good player, Roof.
Yeah. You're taking the same sentiments of Tom Mapletoft there. Exactly the same comment. Should Roof come on earlier? Rangers free kick, by the way, crossed in, half headed away, and now the danger has been basically removed.
That rebound was going in as well, 100%. The keeper would have got nowhere near that. Yeah, what a header that was away.
It's all Rangers. They're coming forward again here. All takes a dive, and it's a free kick on the edge of the area for Rangers. who was out? That was Jasic with the foul. Right then. 119 minutes and roughly 40 seconds gone. Free kick on the edge of the Frankfurt area. A chance for, well, I mean, is Ramsey going to take it? Is he any? I think he's half decent on set pieces. Tavernier as well. Tavernier could whip this
Jimmy
in as well.
Tav, the former Wiganer. No way, surely not.
Yeah, he looks like he's on it. We're into 1 minute of added on time at the end of the Europa League Final. This is basically it, or else it's pens. Trapp setting up his wall. Tavernier looking serious.
I think it's going in.
Mark's called it. He reckons it's going in. Tavernier on the ball to win the Europa League Final, basically, for Rangers. Trapp's getting ready in net, standing over it. Ref blows his whistle. Shot. Oh, it's a good save. It is a good save. Good free kick from Tavernier. Trapp looked like he read it pretty well. I mean, pretty sure it's...
We're going to pens, Rory. We're going to pens.
Yeah, I mean, that's going in. Very well read, and Trapp was on the move really early. Otherwise, Tavernier's the hero. We're 1 minute done, and the Europa League Final goes to penalties.
We've got another 20 minutes to go, yeah?
It's been a long old haul tonight. It's been really enjoyable to commentate on it and take everyone that's been watching through. And now that we've got to penalties, please stick with us for penalties. Everyone loves penalty shootouts, particularly when you're a neutral. What's going to happen? Completely 50-50. Craig, my brother, I'll give him fair dues. He did call that he was going to pen, so yeah, fair play. Good shout. Much like a lot of these finals have been doing recently, it's going to pens. Just getting highlights now of that chance for Kent again. Trapp with that ridiculous save, and that header over the bar. That obviously was the chance.
He's going to be well prepped though now, Trapp. He's made 2 good saves there right at the end, so he's going to be feeling confident. You never know, that could change it, really.
Yeah. If you're watching, on Twitter, or if you're coming in, get yourself on YouTube and join us now for this penalty shootout. Should be really good fun. There was just some shots of Ali McCoist in the stadium there, just hanging his head after the ball didn't go in the net for Rangers there. Big love to Ali McCoist. I think he's a brilliant commentator actually, and has obviously got a huge connection with Glasgow Rangers. Chance to be a hero for any player, but particularly the keepers, Mark, McGregor or Trapp, big keepers to get the ball past.
I'm going to go with Trapp. I think those 2 saves will have just got him, he knows that he's kept his team in it with 2 big saves there from obviously the Kent effort and then obviously the Tavernier free kick, and I just think that can give him the confidence. I think McGregor probably didn't do that much, if anything, in extra time, really, did he? So, he's probably a little bit nervous, maybe, he's a much older goalkeeper, it's his last game, I think, actually, isn't it? So, I mean, wow. Yeah. I mean, you never know, he might decide to stay on if Rangers potentially have a Champions League campaign next year, but we'll have to see. Anyway, one thing I'm going to do during the penalties, obviously, because Rory, as you probably noticed, is a little bit ahead. So I'm going to mute the sound a little bit just for the penalties, because obviously I don't want to, but then we'll have a discussion, obviously, about what happened. But I'm staying here. Don't worry.
Sure. Not a problem. I'll talk. Yeah. I'll talk us through.
You can talk them through, and then obviously I'll just mute it just for a few minutes while the shootout's on. So
top.
Obviously, I don't want to. Obviously, I'm excited too, and I don't want to already know what happened before.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's a good plan. So I think obviously the referee will be deciding in a sec what end we're going down to. Just bear with us until that happens. Dave over the bars. Dave Pearson reckons that McGregor's saving all 5 pens. So experience, Tom Mapletoft, Tom M going for the experience of McGregor. Ben Pollard, same 5-4 Rangers in penalties. So 3 from 3 for Rangers. In the predictions in the live comments. Right, so we're still got the referee nattering away to Tavernier at the moment. And in comes Hasibi, who has taken the ban from Sebastian Roda right now to have a look.
Rangers fans crying as well. Frankfurt fans are doing this really interesting sway as well at the side.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's quite an emotional thing, really. The Frankfurt players are in like a huddle in the middle of the pitch, and the Frankfurt fans are kind of like swaying side to side. It's do we know which side it's going to be? The penalty kicks are going to be taken in front of yet?
No, not yet.
Just in the toss, I think now, right?
Yeah, the referee's now chatting to the 2 captains and Van Bronckhorst and Glasner. I don't know why he needs to chat to the head coaches. They're presumably deciding what's going on. Dave Pearson reckons McGregor might have a can of Tennent's ready at the side. Maybe that will be his water bottle. Maybe there'll be Tennent's inside his water bottle instead of water. So yeah, we're finally getting to the coin toss, which decides what end we're going to. So we're going down to the left-hand side, which I think has all the Rangers fans down there. So they're
big advantage for Rangers, that I think.
Yeah, so they'll be looking very happy about that, and Frankfurt fans will be looking a long way off. Although Hasibi is now kicking off because he didn't understand what the what the rules were. So is he? Oh my god! So the referee's doing it again. Second coin toss, and no, what's going on now? I have no idea what's going on. It looks like we're still going down to the same end. Yeah, we're still going down to the Glasgow Rangers end of fans. So yeah, the pressure builds. So
what's your tip then, Rory? Before I mute for a little bit, I'm gonna go. I think there'll be a few misses today. I'm gonna go 3-1 to Frankfurt. I think there's gonna be a few misses in the shootout today.
Oh god. Penalties. The old saying about 22 players playing football, and in the end, the Germans win on penalties.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is a German team.
If that's the case, then Frankfurt should have a good chance. So I'll talk us through it then. James Tavernier stepping up for the first pen. Mark, if you want to mute yourself or whatever you want to do now, steps up, penalty number 1 against Trapp in net. Really good penalty taker, usually Tavernier. Quite a short run up. Trapp bouncing up and down on the line. Referee blows his whistle. Penalty number 1. Scores. Very, very calm. Sends Trapp the wrong way. More or less down the middle, actually, to be fair. So 1-0 Rangers. Good start. Bit of an exaggerated run up there from Tavernier. Who have we got next? For Frankfurt, first up, I believe it's the substitute defender. Is it Lenz? Pretty sure it is Lenz. Right. Penalty number 1 for Frankfurt. Let's see what happens here. McGregor looking intimidating. Trapp just running behind the goal. So referee's about to blow his whistle. Here we go. Oof. Side netting and in. Good penalty. Lenz making it 1-1. So honours even straight away. You can feel the nerves from both teams, fans, supporters, everything. I wasn't side netting at all, actually. But still a good penalty. Right, next penalty then. Rangers. Looks like Kent stepping up. Oh, no, it's Davis, actually. My bad. My eyes, obviously, that bad. Okay, Stephen Davis Penalty. Great penalty. Top bins. That was coolness personified. 2-1 Rangers. A few shots of the celebrating Rangers fans there. What a pen that is. Under pressure. Very, very good indeed. Rangers 2-1 up, having taken the first penalty with, if you consider that an advantage. Next up is that Hrustic or Jasic potentially for Frankfurt here for their second penalty. Looking very concentrated. Oh, yeah, good pen. Bottom left corner. McGregor the wrong way. Hrustic makes it 2-2. Next man coming up for Rangers to make it the fifth penalty of the shootout. Who's it going to be? Looks like potentially Scotty Arfield, I think, from a distance. I think that's Arfield. So penalty number 3. Another substitute, new to the game. Can he hack the pressure? Pretty long run up, pretty straight run up as well. Trapp trying to make himself look big. Good pen, very powerful. Trapp even went the right way. Superb penalties so far from Rangers. Really, really cool. And some of those predictions are looking quite good at the moment, and Rangers are looking quite strong. So who have we got next for Frankfurt? Daichi Kamada has been a key player for them throughout their European adventure, their journey, right the way through to the end. The pressure on the Japanese player. Can he step up and score for his team? Oh, what a pen. In off the post. These penalties are high quality in a high pressured environment, straight in off the post. Fair play so far. No one has shone the responsibility of these penalties. Who's going to blink first? Aaron Ramsey. Here we go. 3 minutes of football in the Europa League Final. Big name for the big occasion. Building him up here to probably miss, aren't I? Right. Got his run up ready. Trap ready in net for him. Penalty. Saved! Aaron Ramsey has missed the penalty for Rangers Football Club. Trap makes the save. Oh my goodness me. Right. So who's going to be next for Frankfurt to potentially put them in the lead for the first time in the evening at all? Good save with the legs. A trap going the right way. Pretty average penalty. Worst, obviously, that we've seen so far. Who's next for Frankfurt? Looks like Kostic. It is Kostic. Best player for Frankfurt. Steps up and scores just low into the bottom corner past McGregor. Now we're into serious territory here. So Rangers fans can barely watch as Kostic's penalty goes bottom bins. Great pen. Really good pen. We're in sudden death territory effectively now. You can't miss Rangers, whoever you are, who's taking it. I cannot fathom who it is. So is it Roof potentially? Right. Missing it's over to stay in the Europa League final. Big penalty. Can Trapp do it again? And it's just in off the post from Roof. The Roof is still just about on fire. Keeps Rangers' dreams alive. Good penalty with a little stutter. In off the post. Trapp went the right way again. Brilliant penalty in fairness to him. Right. Last penalty to win the Europa League. Rafa Borre. Big penalty, biggest of his career, huge moment in potentially the history of Eintracht Frankfurt. Can McGregor save Rangers and take it to sudden death? Here we go. Rafa Borre scores, top corner. Rangers have lost. Eintracht Frankfurt have won the Europa League Final. Absolutely amazing scenes. Borre goes to the corner flag to celebrate with his with the fans, with his players now coming over to him. And wow, the end finally comes of this marathon game and indeed marathon watch-along. Once Mark comes back off mute and we can get a bit of reaction, we'll kind of sum up what this means to Frankfurt. Amazing scenes for those fans. First of all, from our point of view on Over the Bar, commiserations to Rangers. I can see Mark fist pumping. So, are you back, Mark?
Come on.
Yeah. He's back. He's
Viva
back.
Frankfurt. Yeah, sorry, I think I was like a minute behind, but yeah, great penalties. Unbelievable penalties from Frankfurt there, right in front of the Rangers fans. That man, Aaron Ramsey, obviously missing the key penalty. Yeah. I think me and Rory were saying, where was he the whole day, but obviously, maybe it would have been better to keep him on the bench, but yeah, absolutely massive. Delighted for the Bundesliga. So happy. That man, Borre, what a penalty that was to win it.
Yeah.
I mean, what a player, definitely a player to look forward to ahead of next season. And Frankfurt are the Europa League Final winners. Yeah, what an effort. What a night. Yeah, I'm so happy for the club, so happy for the Bundesliga. Sorry for you Rangers fans out there, but, yeah. I think just about the better side won. What do you think, Rory? Would you say it was quite an even final, really, overall?
Oh, yeah, so even, I think it's fair to say, like, for large periods of extra time, particularly Rangers were probably the better team. For the first 30 minutes of the game, Frankfurt were the only team in it. And then Rangers came strongly back into it again, similar sort of pattern in the second half. So, yeah, commiserations to Rangers fans. Really, really horrible way to lose a final. What a brilliant adventure it's been for them. But I mean,
yeah.
What do you say? Nine amazing penalties, high quality penalties, and then you just happen to be the unlucky one, Aaron Ramsey. Kind of seeing that one. Just poorly struck penalty and Trapp went the right way. I mean, Trapp, in fairness, went the right way for 3 out of 5 of them, I think, but the rest of them were just too good quality. And Carde, Drake getting his wish of Knauf and Hargate taking.
I agree with him 100%. I think neither of them had the best games tonight, to be honest. But I mean, the thing with Frankfurt is we said, do they have the bottle? But some of those penalties were fantastic. Like the likes of Kostic is just absolutely ice cold under pressure. And I mean, he had potentially the biggest penalty of all. At that to establish the lead. After Ramsey, and I thought that was a beautiful penalty. That classic left foot. Do you know what I mean? Again, he must have the best left foot in football, that guy, really. It's like he just hits it like a sledgehammer, doesn't he? He just absolutely buries it. And McGregor knew exactly where he was going to go because he always goes to the left, doesn't he? But he couldn't save it. And I mean, nerves of steel. And I thought even some of the early penalty takers like Lenz, they did a great job. And sometimes it doesn't work out, and you kind of the likes of Knauf and Hauger, don't take a penalty, but yeah, fantastic effort. I've got to say commiserations to Rangers because it was a great performance. Really, they played a great final tonight, But obviously, we are a Bundesliga show, and like I can speak for myself. I don't know about you, Rory, but I'm delighted that the FCE are the champions of the Europa League, and obviously we'll have 5 teams in Europe in the Champions League next year too, which is massive for the league. Absolutely massive for the league. So I'm just so happy for the club, for the city, for Glasner as well. A manager I've always liked since we've been following the Bundesliga, and great stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because we've been going on so long, we had thought that we might stay on to watch Frankfurt lift the trophy, but there'll probably be another 15, 20 minutes of setting the stage up. So we will bring the show to a close in a second. So, yeah, first of all, I am buzzing for Frankfurt. What a journey it's been for them. You know, beating Barcelona, West Ham, Betis, a good Spanish side, and now to go over the line against Rangers, go unbeaten throughout the entire Europa League. A
Yeah, that's
long
massive.
tournament, amazing achievement. So yeah, brilliant achievement for them. I hope all the fans in Seville tonight have a brilliant evening, as long as they behave themselves, of course. But yeah, brilliant for the Bundesliga. 5 teams in the Champions League, brilliant also. So yeah, what a way to finish our second and definitely probably most longest watch along that we're likely to do. Marathon 3 hours. So yeah, to close up tonight, thank you so much to everyone that's watched the final with us tonight and stuck with it for however long you have done, especially considering it wasn't the prettiest of games, but we're always going to kind of have that in a final situation. So yeah, thank you for everyone that watched, tuned in, liked the show. If you subscribed tonight, brilliant as well. I think that's all I would like to say anyway. So, Mark, if you would like to close things up, and then I think we'll both be needing a good night's sleep.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just hit midnight here in Germany, actually. Yeah, so yeah, it's been a fantastic night. Yeah, I'm just so happy with the result in the end. You know, if Rangers had won, I'd have been a little bit upset, really. But yeah, fantastic end for the evening for me personally. But obviously, again, commiserations to the Rangers fans, and yeah, I know how much it hurts. I mean, we England fans have had many, many heartbreaks on penalties. You know, and it's the worst. Oh, it's just the worst feeling you can ever imagine, really. But yeah, congratulations to Frankfurt. You are a German team. You know, you were confident you were going to win the spot kicks after all, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, just to close up, if you enjoyed our 3 hour plus mammoth show tonight, yeah, then remember to check out our Twitter at OverTheBarFB and at OverTheBar Extra. Remember to also check out otbfootball.net as well. And yeah, as I say, one last time, yeah, remember to like, comment, and subscribe because it can really, really help us moving forward. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. It was an absolute pleasure. Great comments tonight as well. So many good fans, and it's fantastic. Yeah, and I think me and Rory have earned a good sleep tonight. That's for sure. Yeah. All right. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.
Cheers all.